and say, this whole situation is on me. I feel terrible for Jerod because I put him in an untenable situation. I know.
To everybody, we're going to start off 2025 with a bang. For weeks, we have told you that the Patriots should move on from Jerod Mayo. And I think Kraft was listening to the fans. He may have indicated that today, and we'll let you hear all the audio when it comes to that. I was shocked when I was on postgame yesterday. I think the game got over just after 4:15, and about an hour later, we get the news that Jerod Mayo was fired. He did his post-game press conference. It was chippy. If you heard this thing, he came out and basically said, whenever I'm on the football field, I want to win football games. He was questioned about the pin. We all know about the special pin. Question about that, and was chippy. He basically made mention of, if you want to make a story about it, go ahead. He was chippy, but he wanted to win, and he was proud of the guys. But at the same time, something was different with Jerod Mayo. Something with his tone was off. I don't know if he knew that he was out the door or the importance of what the number one pick could be. But I'll flat out say this. I almost respect the guy for the way things happened. But at the same time, the job was to lose. And he wanted to go out there and win the game. It was more about the Buffalo Bills laying down than Joe Milton's performance, which we'll talk about. But the one thing I'll say, I've been consistent on this thing all year long. And by the way, I lost my lowest wins in the NFL. Thank you, Jerod Mayo. You should be fired for that. But no. Been consistent on this one all year long. Robert Kraft had to admit his mistake. He had to admit his mistake, and he did so. And he did that. I'll give Kraft credit for admitting his mistake. He did it quick, but it was an awfully horrendous look. The other thing I wanted to just jump on quickly, we'll get into all the Mayo stuff and Kraft and his comments shortly. But can you actually believe that this was the succession plan to Bill Belichick? I've done this for years when it comes to Tom Brady. There was no succession plan for Tom Brady. They brought in Cam Newton. It was a placeholder. They brought in Mac Jones. Everyone was happy. And then it all went to crap. But you had Bill Belichick for 25 years, 20 whatever years. And this was the succession plan? This? Jerod Mayo was the succession plan? And now we're all supposed to just sit here and think the Kraft's got it figured out and that they're going to get it right? I'll allow it today to be happy that they're moving on and going in the right direction because that's all you have. You have a number 4 overall pick, which could have been number 1. The Krafts are probably going to spend money because they have to. And they actually have to get someone who wants the job. So to hear names like Ben Johnson will actually interview with the Patriots, I was wrong, and I'll admit it. I no longer thought this was the number 1 destination in football. I didn't think it. Free agents thought you weren't spending money. Offensive coordinators wouldn't come in last year and even interview. I just didn't think it was desirable. But if Ben Johnson wants to interview for the Patriots job, that's desirable. If Mike Vrabel is interested in the job and wants to coach the Patriots, that makes it desirable. I just didn't think so. I thought there was this perception in the league. So I don't know if it's the fact that the Krafts have admitted the mistake, did it quickly, and now want to get ahead of things. Maybe that's the message around the league. The Patriots are real about winning again and getting back on track. I still can't believe this was the succession plan. It was an absolute failure. But the coach and the Patriots winning a game yesterday felt like a loss. I couldn't believe they won the game. And I was watching Buffalo do things that I knew they were tanking that thing. Like, talk about really hurting the Patriots if you're the Buffalo Bills, who have now won 5 straight AFC East titles. 5 straight. And don't let the Patriots get the number 1 pick. They go from now number 1 to number 4. I don't even know how you could lose the chance at the number 1 pick. Robert Kraft did say that he did not speak to the coaching staff before the game regarding the number 1 pick. I doubt that one. Sorry. The Bills absolutely laid down. And in some way, I feel like the coaching staff wanted to stick it to ownership and the fans. It's true, Jerod Mayo didn't get a fair shake here. He was set up to fail. He did a lot of things on his own to lose the job, though. But was he set up to fail? I think that's what happened. Tom Curran wrote about this. He said what he's learned so far on the Patriots coaching move, the last 4 games of the year were untenable. The moves, this wasn't an anticipated move. They didn't want to do that, but there was too much disorganization, and it became too much to take. Also went on to say it's safe to presume that Mike Vrabel's the number 1 candidate. And the Patriots will not be hiring a firm to conduct their search. This will be the first head coaching search that they'll do in 25 years. Others will be involved in this one. Elliott Wolf will be. Highsmith. Of course they will. They'll be the paper pushers. I just can't believe that Jerod Mayo was the succession plan for the greatest coach of all time. At least when it comes to Tom Brady. You know Bill Belichick wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. Who got in the middle of that one? It was Robert Kraft. And I'll say this. I'll take the championship every single time in that situation. I'll say that they got that one right. So for the people who say, the Krafts are horrible and they don't do things right, I think they got that one right. Although Jimmy was the succession plan, they won a championship. Win for Kraft. This one here, scapegoating Bill Belichick, doing a private deal behind his back, someone on his staff meeting with him and being late for meetings to end up becoming the head coach without a coaching search, and then absolutely failing and being one of the worst in the league, one of the worst we've seen in years, first-year coach, who clearly was not ready. It's on Kraft. He admitted it today, and that's the first step forward. But I do just wanted to bring up one other thing, and I know Skaz mentioned this, and we'll hear from him in a minute. But where was Drake May? I do post-game every game. I was here for 20 games this year. Drake May talked almost after every one of them when he did start or wasn't concussed. Nowhere to be heard from yesterday and wasn't even seen today. All right, kid, get out of here. If that's the case, I won't blame him. But going forward, you're going to build this thing around him. He has shown leadership, no doubt about it. Just wanted to bring that one up. You want to get on Jonathan Kraft for not being around? I'm going to get on Drake May for not being around. Thought it was a bad look. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. We're also on YouTube. What's up to our friends on YouTube as well? You can call in. We got Skaz here. We got our street team Joe here tonight. He's helping us out as well. We'll hear from Robert Kraft, his comments from today, and, of course, your thoughts as we're here until 10 o'clock. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
that mean Elliott and his staff are going to continue on, or will the coaching hire also impact your front office?
No, we are looking for people working together, and they will be staying on.
Jim, and you guys were talking about money, and man, how these teams like the Celtics and the Dodgers, where do they find the money? And I'm like, man, that Skaz is really condescending, but I love it. It's like, man, because you are like that. I mean, you don't do it to be malicious by any means. It's just
Just point out the facts, Joe.
Yeah, just facts.
Just saying.
It's hard to get the facts out on other shows, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Yeah,
You were fighting the good fight last week.
I try. I always do. But I will take a couple of L's. By the way, the number one L I will take. I said the Patriots would have the lowest amount of wins in the NFL this year.
Thought you were going to start with Bailey Zappi.
Oh! By the way, I did bet Bailey Zappi to throw a touchdown pass, and bing, bang, boom, baby, baby. So that's all I care about.
He just threw one to the other team first, but yeah.
He threw one to a man definitely double the size of me. You see that guy?
That was a big man.
Who the hell is that
there.
man? That guy's huge.
Pierce.
Yeah.
I like that he just immediately said, Browning's not for me.
Yeah, he caught it like his foot. It was like Fred Flintstone. You know how it looks like he's about to get going? That was funny. Yeah, I'll take the L. But, getting the number one pick would have solidified that for me. So I don't think I was far off by my projections this year with the Patriots. I don't. I also thought that they would be this bad. And I also thought that they would move on from Jerod Mayo. You just, no one can lose 7 straight games at the end of the year and come back, although it has happened before. Steve Wilkes lost 8 straight games and was fired at the end of the year. And then Matt Eberflus lost 7, but somehow came back. I don't know how. So I think, if you really just look at those numbers, don't bring them back. So on merit alone and on record and all that, Jerod Mayo deserved to be fired. But he was absolutely set up to fail. He didn't do himself any of his own favors. And when Kraft says, I really feel bad for Jerod and showing sympathy, I agree.
Yeah, because it's his fault. I'd feel bad too.
Yeah. I don't know what's next for Mayo. I'm sure he signed an NDA and is going to get paid his money and won't say anything. And how could he? And I will say this. After the game yesterday, I heard a lot of players were very vocal about how much they like Jerod Mayo. I'm sure that's 50-50, by the way. And when I bring up the Drake May thing not being there, and I'll get your opinion on that, Skaz, I'm not trying to make a big deal about it. In the end, get the kid out of there and start over. I get it, right? It's the easiest, cleanest thing to do. All right, kid, why don't you get out of here, man? Just get out of here. We'll let you leave early. Play a series. See you later. So I'm not trying to harp on that. It's just that people do get on Jonathan Kraft for not being there, right? He wasn't there for Jerod Mayo's thing. He wasn't there today. But I have seen leadership qualities in Drake May this year. He didn't speak after the game, and nobody saw him today. That was the one takeaway I thought that I was a little disappointed about. But I've always said all along, if Kraft just admits his mistake, and it will be best for the franchise, and they did that. So was just curious your thoughts on the Drake May stuff, Skaz.
Yeah, obviously I don't think it's the best look, but I also think it was probably something he was told, you don't need to answer questions. Get out of here. I don't think they want his, public thoughts on AVP out there before, that decision is, finalized, even though some people have reported on it while others have reported that nothing has happened there. So, yeah, I think it was probably more than anything else just the team protecting May. But he is the face of the franchise. And, as a fan, I think he is someone that maybe the only one that, fans want to hear from right now and get his perspective on the year, his rookie year, on Jerod Mayo, on AVP. I'd like to hear what Drake May has to say on, AVP and his development. Joe Milton certainly looked pretty good, under AVP's development from a guy we were told, has no touch
Agree.
and terrible footwork.
Oh, guys, he couldn't throw a short pass for the life of him.
Yeah, that's what.
I was impressed with him.
So I think that was a win for AVP yesterday, and then for them not to let Drake May talk to the media, maybe because he was gonna pump up AVP, a guy who probably I think most people believe won't be here next year. So yeah, I mean a small blemish I would say on Drake May, but. No, obviously not the story coming out of yesterday, but I think you always want the face of your franchise to face the music, good and bad.
I do. I got one more question for you, but I do want to take another L. After the game yesterday, a lot was going on. I did post game, and I saw a report from the Boston Globe that said that Alex Van Pelt was also fired, and we heard from the owner himself today that it's status quo. Other people have pushed back on that report, but Skaz, as we learn when we're on the fly at times, Twitter is not a news source. X is not a news source. It's just where we go, where we find information. So Street Team Joe, okay, learn from me. Just because it's on Twitter and it's from like the Boston Globe doesn't mean it's always true. Skaz, do you think it's true that Robert Kraft didn't say anything to the coaching staff or Elliot Wolf regarding the number one pick and the importance of that?
I think it's borderline malpractice, if that's true. Do I think, he should tell them straight up, you got to lose the game? Probably not. Coaches aren't going to do that. But for you to have made the decision that Jerod Mayo was fired and to let him coach that game with the draft implications, weighing in the balance, I think is just a terrible decision, because the difference between the 1 and 4 pick, as we all know, is very significant, especially when you're a team that already has a quarterback. So all the leverage they had headed into the draft is now gone. You won a meaningless game. And yeah, you can't tell the players to lose. They're not going to play to lose, but there are ways around it to game plan, to run certain plays. And maybe I think the thing is, they say Jerod Mayo didn't know, so you can't say, oh, that was his final, like, F you. Lovie Smith-esque when Lovie Smith made the Texans end up with C.J. Stroud.
Yep.
So not exactly the same situation, but it's just bad organization management once again. I know you can't force them to lose, but there are ways that you can surely make it a lot easier for your team to lose.
I agree with you about the malpractice thing. Like, you mean maybe Wolf knew, right? I think they have to be a little bit careful with this next search, and we'll get into this in a little bit. They can be compliant and do everything the right way. I still think things can look bad, right? Like, can't that happen? He said that he didn't say anything to Mayo or the staff about the number one pick. Other coaches didn't say that when they got fired. So I'll get into that a little bit later. All right, let's hear from you guys. 617-779-0985. Mark's and Drake. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you, Joe?
Hey.
So, real quick, two things. The first thing, on the Drake May, how you said, oh, he wasn't around, he didn't say anything. What's he going to say to us anyways? This 22-year-old kid, he would have had some pre-statement of fluff. I love the guy, learned so much. Like, he's not going to tell us, like, I'm in meetings and I can't believe this guy's saying what he's saying. So I don't have anything against him for not saying anything.
I don't either. But you have to understand that I got to talk about it, right? It's something to talk about.
Totally.
This whole day, Drake May just kind of got pushed to the side and got his hands clean.
Yeah, and then with Jerod Mayo, like, the only thing yesterday I tried to get you after the post game, and I was the mock from Drake, where I said, all you heard was, "Come on, Joe, pick my phone."
Oh, that was you.
Oh. That was me. Hey, for the record, that thing just hung up. I was ready. I tried to call back, but they wouldn't let me on.
That's
so I
funny.
need to do my quick. I need to do my quick vent from yesterday.
Yeah.
I would be less them winning that game yesterday. I would be less shocked than if I woke up with my head stapled to the rug. Like, it was just like, it's common sense. Like, you need to lose that game, and you guys are turning around saying, "Oh, did you think Kraft said anything?" Kraft doesn't have to say anything. It is common sense. It's like, lose the game. Wink, wink. We try to win every game, but wink, wink. We get the first round pick, and we have to lose this game. Like. And I right after the game, I called my older brother and I said, if they don't fire him, I'm done with this team. Now, my take on this, 24 hours removed, is two things. One is he either knew he was getting fired and he stuck it to us,
Yep.
which I don't think it's that, or the second one is, what was the second one? The second one was, what's it called?
Oh, sorry,
lost
Mark.
it, Joe.
Gotta go, buddy.
Sorry.
It's like the pressure, you know? Well, you call back, Mark. We like you. Yeah, yesterday, Scavs on postgame, I go, hey, Mark, and Drake, and all of a sudden I hear him go, come on, Joe, answer the phone. Imagine if we could hear what they were doing when they're not on the air.
A lot of dump buttons, I would
Oh,
imagine.
yeah. We got Brian's in Chelsea. Hey, Brian.
How's it going, Joe? So I think last night's call was totally Jonathan's call, especially the win. The way it happened just like that so quickly. It was Jonathan being like, what the hell is this? Get him to my office right now. I think it was fully Jonathan's call. Happy birthday, Joe. Take care, guys.
All right, happy birthday. Justin and Lynn, what's up, bro?
Hey, Joe, I just wanted to tell you, I think this firing was getting back to the 47 game that Jerod Mayo knew that he was getting fired, and I think it was due to, I'm glad that ownership finally took accountability and totally did the right thing for this team.
Is your dog want to come on the air, too?
No.
What's your dog's name?
Sugar and Ginger.
Hey, Sugar and Ginger, how you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin. Guys, what's your dog and cat's name?
Sophie is the dog.
Yeah,
The
okay.
cat is the cat.
Well, we do allow pets on the show. So we had Sugar and Ginger right there. I think they heard us saying Mayo, and maybe they were, you know. All right, that was bad. All right, well, we're going to hit the headlines here. Yeah, I wanted to mention this too. And I only saw this on Mass Live today, but is Robert Kraft a great owner or a guy who got lucky with Belichick and Brady? How important is this next hiring? It's pretty big. Talk about that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots have moved on from Jerod Mayo, and Patriots owner Robert Kraft spoke at a press conference today saying that the firing of Jerod Mayo and the whole situation was on him, and he expressed great guilt for one. Jerod Mayo also said he'll be doing a coaching search to get the team back to the playoffs and hopefully win another championship. They do have permission to talk with Ben Johnson of the Detroit Lions. Also, Mike Vrabel listed as the favorite. Some other NFL news today. Doug Peterson out in Jacksonville. The Bears, they're interested in talking with McCarthy. His contract's up on Wednesday with Dallas. And, Rodney Harrison speaking about the Patriots moving on from Jerod Mayo. And I agree. So I personally thought Mayo was a good guy. Players liked him. He wanted to change the vibe. But there was no way he was ready for this. And that's not his fault. Not his fault. Kraft took the blame, and I'm ready to move on. But I do think that it wasn't fair. Just think about what happened here. They wanted out of Bill Belichick so bad, they manipulated, I'm using a word, manipulated, the language in contracts where they didn't have to do a hiring search and put a contract and a clause in place that Jerod Mayo would be the successor to Bill Belichick, but yet had a buyout. And so they moved on from Bill Belichick, did it a year earlier, and it was a complete disaster. They regressed. This was the succession plan. And now we expect an 83-year-old man and his son and two guys who failed this year to now find the next leader and spend money and draft well. Am I wrong by saying, Skaz, that I am not sold? And I think we've been pretty clear that the Mike Vrabel thing is not our top choice. Is that what we've been pretty consistent on that, right?
I think that's fair to say, Joe. I think you would put yourself in the skeptical category. Very skeptical of what the Patriots' next moves are going to be.
I think that the move for Jerod Mayo was bad. So what makes us think that this will be good? What makes you think that they're going to make the right decision here? And the only thing I'll say about Vrabel is he changed his photo, right, to him wearing a Patriots jersey. He interviewed with the Jets. Why didn't you just hire him last year? Why? What was it? What was it? Why? Why didn't they hire? If he wants to be here and they like him so bad, why not last year?
My two guesses on that would be, one, they had the Jerod Mayo thing lined up. That was Robert Kraft's baby at the time. He thought it was going to, be successful.
Genius idea.
Yes. Yeah. And the other one, obviously, is I think Jerod Mayo was a much, cheaper option. They would have had to pay Mike Vrabel last year. Oh, yeah.
Even though he I actually don't know. Was he in the last year of his deal? With
that I don't know.
Because he might have been with Cleveland this year getting paid from Tennessee for all I know.
I bet you he was.
The Pats would have, they would have offset the, whatever. But you're right. You know what I think it was? I think that they looked at it as maybe a Bill Belichick thing. And what I mean by that is, would people want to work here? Because of Bill Belichick, like, was there a respect there? Do they think that they couldn't get certain assistants to work here because they were loyal to Bill? Was there a little bit of that? I'm spitball. I'm reaching, right? Here I am, hurting my back, reaching for reasons that we don't understand. If you want him so bad, why didn't they just hire him last year? I have the odds for the next Patriots head coach coming out. I'll tease that for you coming up in a minute here. The other thing I wanted to mention was the Mass Live article. Is Robert Kraft a great owner or a guy who got lucky with Belichick and Brady? Skaz? Is he a good owner? I'm going to say he's a good owner.
Yeah, I think he's a good owner.
I think he's a good owner. Has he gotten lucky? Yep. Don't a lot of guys get lucky? Right? Jim Irsay get lucky times in his life? Yep. Some guys get lucky. Some guys just get lucky. But his next move, right? You want to talk about Hall of Fame and, Kraft really wants to get that thing. Him winning with somebody other than Bill Belichick. Legacy. And I'll say this one more time. My life, I'm 42 years old, okay? In my lifetime, all I've ever known is Bill Parcells, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, Jerod Mayo. What's the number one thing all of those coaches had in common at the end of their careers? They all were out because of Kraft. All of them. Parcells, Pete Carroll. Oh, Pete Carroll says great things about, oh, yeah, remember the bologna sandwiches this year? Remember that one? Confirmed by a former player on that team, by the way. Sources on the ground. How about Bill Belichick? You think he was happy at the end? And then Mayo winning on the final and then gets canned. Literally did the conference, went into the locker room, and no one's seen him since. You notice the common theme there? It's Robert Kraft. Can they make the next choice a hire that will go a long way towards Robert Kraft's legacy? Yeah, this is on you, bro. One of the other reasons Mike Reese mentioned was the Patriots lost their fans. I don't know if do we have that? It was this morning. It was pretty good stuff. Mike Reese, I got to tell you, Mike, I like you. You know I like you, Mike. Reese has been at least sharing the facts, which is sometimes all we need, Skaz, is just the facts. We don't need reporting at times. Just report the facts. I think he's been leaving little breadcrumbs to make us think that this thing is over. But this is Mike Reese today on maybe one of the reasons they did move on from Mayo.
If I were to sum it up, the last month has been exhausting. More negatives than positives. And I think ultimately, like you lost a lot of the fans. And when you lose the fans, I think that's my summary. If I were to sum it up, the last month has been exhausting. More negatives than positives. Exhausting. And I think ultimately, like you lost a lot of the fans. And when you lose the fans, I think that's my summary of how we got where we got to where we are right now.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about the fans during the game and then the feeling in the locker room after the game.
So, well, the moment yesterday, John, that will stand out to me for a long time is they're kneeling on the ball at the end of the game, the win, and the fans that were there are booing. You know, no one wanted them to win because they wanted them to get the number one pick. And I think I would say that's reflective of the disconnect that was there.
Yeah, I have some friends who sent me the bags. They wore the brown bags on their head. Actually, I'll send it. I'll text it to Maz shortly. But my buddy Kevin at the game yesterday wearing bags. And I go, oh, who gave you guys that idea? You sent it to Maz? Yeah, I'll send it to Maz. Fine. That's what I did. I will do that shortly. Who will be the next head coach for the Patriots? I got your odds coming up next. Some surprising names on that list. Oh, and how about Joe Milton, by the way? A little Joe Show action yesterday. Did you see that? It got mentioned on the broadcast, the Joe Show. Did you hear this, guys?
I missed that one.
Just go, you'll see it. Look, do the old little the system there. Joe Show. The Joe Show was in full effect yesterday. I got your Joe Show, and I got your odds. Patriots next head coach. We'll do that coming up next. I see y'all in the chat. I see you guys in there. Right now, we have 259 people in there, Skaz. Let's crank it up, everybody, here until 10 o'clock tonight. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fake inside the gift, and he's now running in, waltzing in untouched to the end zone, and then a backflip from Joe Milton for the exclamation mark. Touchdown, Patriots.
Good energy here to start this football game for the offense after Drake May comes out.
Got that Big Joe energy right there from Zoe. Back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Back here at nights, everybody. Skaz is here. We got Street Team Joe helping us out. Thanks, dude. See everybody in the chat. People are ready. They want to talk about the Patriots. I have your odds to be the next Patriots head coach. Hey, Roger. Next, Patriots head coach. This is brought to you by Bet Online. The favorite at minus 400, so that would be $400 to win 100. Mike Vrabel. The next name on this list, Brian Flores at plus 400. Currently the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Was the head coach in Miami. We know he did not like Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not really sure if I think he might have lost that one, but Tua's injury concerns are a thing, right? They didn't make the playoffs because they lost yesterday. Then it's Ben Johnson at plus 600, which I'm telling you right now, people, if you want the right guy, although inexperienced as a head coach, at least he's been a coach, offensive coordinator, and has been at multiple places. Was with McDaniel in Miami, right? Was with Dan Campbell. The guy's been around. And you know what? I think he could bring Lou Amarello with him. Not Lou Amarello. What's the guy's name? Lou from Cincinnati there. Lou Amarello. Talking hockey now. Lamorello. Whatever. Cliff Kingsbury's on there, plus 800. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions. Liam Cohen. And then the names get a little interesting here. Bill O'Brien, suspect. Joe Brady, who I'd love, by the way. Todd Monken, which I know Skaz has mentioned before. Matt Nagy, out. Arthur Smith, out. Wes Phillips, And then the long shot is Josh McCown, who coached Drake May in high school. Played in the leagues, been I like the idea of it. But Mike Vrabel, your favorite to be the next head coach of the New England Patriots, followed by Brian Flores. The Flores thing's interesting because if Flores does come in, he needs an offensive coordinator. If you look at it, maybe the best situation, and whatever you think, I know you might have watched the Vikings last night in Lions, but I still think that O'Connell Flores combo is the best in the NFL. And I know there was a report yesterday from Jay Glazer that talked about potentially Kevin O'Connell becoming available in trade in. How about that one? I mean, why would the Vikings do that?
Yeah, that's my first thought is why would the Vikings do that? They have a young quarterback, a decent roster. I don't see any reason for them to make that trade.
If I had it my way, Skaz, it would be Ben Johnson, number 1, Liam Cohen, number 2.
Well, I think if you're the Crafts, the Ben Johnson thing kind of erases almost every blemish because then you can even sell us for the real, Patriots fans, the Patriot teamers there, the green teamer Patriot fan.
Oh, what do we call them? The militia? What do we?
I don't even know, but you could sell the idea of Jerod Mayo was a good hire because if you hire Mike Vrabel last year, he's not getting fired after 1 year.
Well, didn't Crafts kind of say that today? He's got all the stuff to be a head coach. He just didn't have the experience. Well, doesn't Ben Johnson have all the experience and wasn't a head coach?
So if you hire Ben Johnson, that immediately, remedies everything. And you could say, well, if we hired Vrabel last year, we were never going to get Ben Johnson. So look at that. We actually kind of did something right.
There you go.
So there's the ultimate spin zone.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's where we live right now.
Yep.
The Liam Cohen thing, Baker Mayfield has the most touchdowns in the last 2 years, and this guy's a part of it. He's ready. I think he's ready. I don't know that, but I think he is. Flores would be interesting. I think he'd be. I don't know, dude. I hate lawsuits. I don't know I don't know anything. Okay, but is there anything there? Is there a thing with him? Like, is there something there with Flores? I don't know. Cliff Kingsbury, I don't want, and I'm sure he's a great offensive mind.
Yeah, he's a coordinator, not a head coach.
Aaron Glenn, although I love his swag, I just don't want the defensive-minded coach. Bill O'Brien, no. I want Bill O'Brien to stay at BC.
Suspect.
Anyway, very suspect. But at BC, he's not.
Just got a quarterback.
That's right. The kid from Alabama. Joe Brady, I'm in. But I've always been on that guy. I'm curious. I think he should go to the Saints. Just he's had success in New Orleans. Maybe he'll find their next quarterback. I don't know. Everybody else, Monken, I don't want. Even though he had Lamar Jackson throw 40 touchdowns this year. How do you look away from that? Anyways, there's your odds, everybody. 617-779-0985. We got Peter in Plymouth. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Joe. So, real quick, give me a second. I got one that's going to really make you laugh, but I know Felger would die for. So, if it's not Vrabel, I think Patriots ownership has kind of screwed themselves because I'm not a fan of Vrabel as a coach for this team, but if you don't get him, you're going to get a reclamation project because nobody's going to risk their career the way Mayo just flushed his by accepting this job. But my fun view on this is that Kraft is screwed up so bad that big what if, they ended up having to be forced to go with Rex Ryan, of all people, who just put his name back in the hat to be a coach again. They've probably canceled themselves out for any young prospective coach because they're not going to put their career on the line like this. They're not going to come to a place that's going to give them 6 months to do something and then get wiped clean.
So here's the deal, Peter. On Friday, I was on your side of the street. After hearing that Ben Johnson wants to interview with the Patriots, I think it's become a destination. Right? Like, I don't want... Skaz, I was going to let you answer that one, but I don't think they would ever touch Rex Ryan. Not because of his ability. He's just that... He was a Jet, and they're not going to go near that.
Yeah, let's hire another defensive-minded guy who has no idea what he's doing with a young quarterback.
He wants to build a bully. Do I think Rex Ryan could be in the NFL? Yes. Do I think he's a good defensive coach? I do. I think he's a good head coach. I do. I think his time's passed, though. See, I feel like he could be like an interim coach. Someone gets fired, Rex takes over, and then keeps the job. That's how I feel like he'd get hired.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I push back on the Patriots aren't a desirable place to be. I know there was that sentiment, and I think it was legitimate, but Ben Johnson turned down interviews last year. Washington, I think maybe Tennessee or so, but he's turned down Carolina, I think, too, but he turned down multiple interviews. So for him to say, I'm going to take 2 interviews this cycle, I believe it's Chicago and it's the Patriots, that's because of Drake May. That's because of the future prospects, the Patriots do have in Drake May and the cap money. And that 4th overall pick, obviously it'd be more with the 1st, but that's legit. You can't say that, Ben Johnson saying he's interested in the Patriots, that means they should settle for someone like Rex Ryan. I'm out on that.
I threw out John Gruden. So
yes.
I at least said Gruden because I thought they couldn't get anybody else. Like desperation. Probably not going to happen now. All right, we'll get a look at the Sports Hub headlines here. I'm Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBZ-FM and HD Boston.
Patriots!
From the opening kickoff to the final play.
Touchdown!
Your home of the pass.
Yes.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots owner Robert Kraft spoke at a press conference saying that the Patriots firing of Jerod Mayo and the whole situation was on him. He expressed guilt for firing Mayo, said they will do a coaching search. They want to get back to the playoffs and win a championship. They also have permission to speak with Ben Johnson of the Lions, Mike Vrabel, right now listed as the favorite. Some other NFL news today. Doug Peterson's out in Jacksonville. The Bears will interview Mike McCarthy, and Christian Watson out for the playoffs. Got a torn ACL, while the Celtics back in action tomorrow night. They nobody right now listed on the injury report for the Green, who of course are on that West Coast trip. They play in Denver tomorrow night. Headlines. They are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Next update, 30 minutes.
Some people play the game.
Blocked by Horford.
Some talk about
Let's
it.
welcome to the Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics Show with Murray and Gasper. Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub.
Robert, this is going to be very expensive. Buying out a coaching staff, bringing in on new coaching staff, perhaps it goes to the personnel department. You also have $120 million in cap space this year, the most in the league. Will what you spend on this transition affect anything that you spend on players this offseason?
Yeah, the answer is no. We've always had a situation where we spend to the cap, and if we go over we have never told any coach or limited the spending. The only thing we've said is if you exceed the cap, we like to see it leveled out over 3 years. And, so that we never get way out of hand. But spending to the cap or above the cap is not, we want to win. That's our priority first.
I don't know. But it's a good question, right? They have to spend. I'm sorry. I know it's easy to sit here and say they got to do it. Because we said that last year and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that. Hey, the last time they actually spent money in free agency, by the way, they did make the playoffs, although they did get whooped in the playoffs. But they got there, right? Just saying. Phone number 617-779-0985. What's up, YouTube? I see our friends in there right now. Einbein, Happy New Year to you, sir. Russ Fox, D. Got Sean in there. Tommy G's in there. Everybody. We got the KB and the crew hanging out with us tonight. Feel free to jump on youtube.com/985 The Sports Hub. So the Patriots will have their first coaching search in 25 years. Sources close to the situation believe Vrabel has shown interest in the Patriots' potential vacancy in recent weeks. Chad Graff posted this whole thing about how he was interested in the Patriots gig a year ago after they split with Belichick before learning Mayo had already been earmarked for the job. So that's why Vrabel didn't get the job a year ago. Okay. While Vrabel might be the front runner to replace Mayo, the Patriots reportedly expected to conduct a wide-range search. Candidates to keep an eye on reportedly include a pair of gifted offensive minds, Tampa Bay's Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson. Did Vrabel's availability factor into Mayo's firing? I know Mike Reese talked about that this morning, Skaz, with Toucher and Hardy, Fred and friends. Let's hear Mike Reese this morning.
Rappaport basically said that they want Vrabel. Are you hearing that, A, and B, why?
So I think on the Vrabel stuff, the fact that he is available, I don't think we can have the discussion about moving on from Jerod and all that without acknowledging that that's at least a factor. But I think it would be a mistake if they just lock in and don't go through a thorough process and expose. And I'm talking about Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, and really I don't know who else is going to be involved in those interviews. I think that'll be an interesting, hopefully, insight that we hear today from Robert Kraft is like to open up to other candidates that you don't know about as much and learn about them. And so if it ends up at Vrabel, which I don't think would surprise anyone, great. You have a history with him. He was a coach of the year. He's done it before.
So there you go. There you go. I just gave you the odds. You heard from the guys. All right, so let's just play the game, Skaz. Let's do it. Play the game of maybe Mike Vrabel's staff. So let's say it's Mike Vrabel, right? I think the Crafts need to be careful. And what I mean by careful is not having a coaching search last year and making Mayo the head coach and then firing him after 1 year. It's not the greatest look. It's not. So now they have to do a coaching search. They have to, follow the Rooney Rule. They have to check a lot of boxes when it comes to who they look at. I think they should talk to everybody personally. I think they should talk to even people that might not even be on their list but are interested in the job. I think they should bring in everybody. But the reason why the Ben Johnson thing's interesting to me is it's not just a sham if Vrabel's the guy. You know what I mean by that, Skaz? Like, if somehow, some way it is Ben Johnson, they did the search and they sold Ben on the job. Instead, if they interview just people, but it's Mike Vrabel in the end, the thing's a sham. And that's what I think is like, would be a very bad look, is doing this whole thing and then just landing on Vrabel? And like, that's the best candidate? Or is it because you're comfortable with that candidate? I think it's going to be an interesting look how this all shapes out. Just my take.
Yeah, and I'm with you that I think the Vrabel thing is I don't want to call it the same as Mayo, but it feels like it's just them being safe, doing what fans want. It's PR. We know they're super PR aware. I think that's part of the reason, and Reese even said it in a clip we played earlier this morning on Toucher and Hardy, that they were aware of the backlash. They were aware of the chants in the crowd, of the empty stadium, and they do stuff, reactively, I think, at times. And I think that is, a negative on them, that they are a little too PR conscious. I think Mayo should have been fired, but the way it was handled yesterday, how quick it was, I think that is the Crafts being, aware, being sensitive, whatever you want to call it, and them hiring Vrabel. Look, I think Mike Vrabel is a better coach than Jerod Mayo. I don't think there's any debate there. It's an immediate upgrade. He, brings a culture, fine, all of that. But it just feels eerily similar to what they've been doing. Let's
bring back Bill O'Brien. Let's
bring in Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels.
Yeah,
let's bring the band back together.
Yeah.
Let's hire a defensive-minded guy who was coach of the year.
Well, Scott Pioli may look over Elliott Wolf, or Dimitrov comes in. Just something.
Can we do something different?
Can they be uncomfortable?
Yes.
At times. Can they do that?
Take a risk.
I mean, they took one with Mayo, but that was irresponsible. That wasn't a risk.
And Joe, if we, Reese in that clip mentions, coach of the year, Jerod Mayo. Would you like to hear the coaches of the year since 2012?
Yes.
Since that's such a feather in the cap.
Mike
2012
Vrabel, yes.
would be Bruce Arians.
Okay, won a championship, but go ahead.
Ron Rivera.
Out.
Bruce Arians again.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Rivera again.
Oh, okay, yep.
Jason Garrett.
Oh, the redhead announcer guy?
A good head coach. Sean McVay, very good head coach.
Okay, yeah.
How about someone named Matt Nagy? Was the
offensive coordinator of the Chiefs.
NFL coach of the year. Then it was John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Mike Vrabel.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah.
Brian Daboll.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then Kevin Stefanski again. So I would say that's pretty hit or miss for, your coach of the year if you want to,
couple of championships in there.
And a couple of guys who will probably never be employed again.
Who are like either not employed or like on their last leg. Stefanski, and I don't know how the hell the Giants are keeping Brian Daboll. I do think he's a good coach, but woof. Woof. If Vrabel does come in, the name Josh McDaniels you mentioned, Tommy Reese has been a big name. He was the runner-up for Bill Belichick's job. With North Carolina. Tim Kelly's been with Vrabel with the Texans and Titans. He's currently with the Giants. Nick Haley could always come back. Maybe they'll actually pay him this time. And then there's Charles London, who what was he, the quarterback's coach, or he was with Seattle recently. So I think he could bring a staff, Vrabel. That's at least a good sell. What about these other coaches? What's their staff? If Brian Flores came here, who's his offensive coordinator? Like, those are the questions that I have. We're going to talk to Doug Kyed from the Herald coming up. Let's just knock out a couple more here. Greg's in Northbridge. Hey, Greg.
Hey, what's up, Joe? Love the show. First thing, the Patriots have never had to apply by the Rooney Rule for a head coach.
You're right. No, well, actually, they did. I don't know how it worked for offensive coordinator, but I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the coordinator
because they did bring in guys. But yeah, you're right. They haven't had a head coaching search in 25 years.
Yeah, the head coach, they hired Bill in January of 2000. The Rooney Rule went into effect in 2003.
Yeah,
they've never had to do this. This is new ground to them.
Yeah, and listen, when I say that it's a tough look firing a coach after 1 year, right? There was a
Yeah,
lawsuit. There was a lawsuit about a coach being fired who was, black, and it's not a good look. And there was a lawsuit in the past about it, and I
don't care about the skin color, all that, but they set him up to fail.
Oh yeah, listen. He wasn't ready.
Absolutely,
he wasn't ready.
No, absolutely not. And they didn't help him out either way building a roster. They did not help him at all.
Absolutely right, Greg. This is what I mean by the Crafts can be compliant and check all their boxes. But yes, this is the first time that they will have to do that process themselves. We're going to talk to Doug Kyed. He is of the Boston Herald. I do see you guys waiting on hold. We'll get to your calls throughout the night tonight. We'll do Doug Kyed, get his thoughts on what happened with the Patriots. We'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Get it out there and announce it right away so that you can move on and start hiring your next head coach, get the press conference out of the way on Monday, and just keep rolling. So certainly I was surprised. I actually got back from the locker room up to the press box. I was about to sit down, and some of my Bills beat writer friends said, Mayo was just fired. I said, all right, throwing out everything I got in the locker room, I'm going to start writing this.
And there it was. All right, so I heard you today. I know you were at the press conference, and I believe you asked the question to Robert Kraft. Did you have a chance to talk to the staff before the game yesterday? I do post-game, so you know me. I'm like, oh, he's trying to get the Kraft, you know, and he knew he was going to get fired. So I'm starting all these conspiracies, and then boom, he's fired. So you asked the question to Kraft today about, you know, hey, did you talk to him? He said no. And that was his answer. But some other coaches that have been fired when it comes to the first-round pick in the past have admitted to it. Do you think that he had that conversation, and do you believe Kraft had to say that to kind of protect himself?
No, I tend to believe that, you know, he didn't have a conversation with the staff about how to handle the game, or that Mayo knew he was going to be fired and all these different things. I mean, maybe Mayo saw the writing on the wall when the Schefter report came out on Sunday morning that he was going to be let go, and who knows, maybe that changed some of his decisions in the game. But I tend to take Robert at his word and say that no, he didn't tell the coaching staff how to handle the game. I will say that after the game, I talked to Jelani Tabai, and I asked him, you know, why he didn't play in the first quarter, why he was benched. And he said, that's a question for the higher-ups. That's a question for the coaching staff, which does seem to kind of imply that maybe that decision went above Jerod Mayo, or at least that Jerod Mayo implied that the decision went above him. So that was interesting. So maybe there was some meddling from ownership, but I tend to take Robert at his word when he said that he didn't tell the staff how to handle the game.
So I know you, Zach, you know, Andrew, all you guys are doing great work there at the Herald, and I know Zach had a chance to catch up with some of the players who were, you know, they said it was a sad day. They were rooting for Jerod Mayo. Is that really the overall feeling in there? I know a coach gets fired and, you know, people generally feel bad for the guy, but do you think it's split at all? Like, what do you think the percentages of people, they want a coach in there to win, or were they ready for this change, or were they upset with Mayo maybe not getting a fair shake?
My interpretation is that the players liked Mayo, that the players probably truly are upset that Mayo was fired. And that's not saying all players, but I think that a lot of the players did like Mayo because Mayo let them run the show pretty much. I mean, you see what they said in the media every week, especially near the end when they're talking about fans. I think that Jerod Mayo really failed to set a line with them about what they could and couldn't say. I think that he kind of let them get away with a lot. He was a player's coach. So if you're players, you're probably looking at this and being like, oh, crap. Like, who are they going to hire next? Like, we won't be able to get away with it as much. And our buddy's not going to be the head coach at this point. On the other end, I think that there's a decent amount of people in the building, whether that's, you know, front office or whatever else, who are looking at this a little bit relieved that they believe that Kraft made the right choice. They saw the writing on the wall that this wasn't working, and they believe that this was the right and really only thing to do after how poorly last season went. So I think that there was a divide in the building. I'm sure there's some sort of divide within the players, but I do also tend to believe the players because they've said all year that they liked Mayo, and there's a reason why they liked Mayo, because he really was such a player's coach.
All right, we're talking with Doug Kyed, he of the Boston Herald. So Robert Kraft today obviously took ownership, which I'm glad he did. I didn't know if he would at least admit the mistake there. So let's move forward now. What happens over the next week, 2 weeks? Obviously the playoffs are going on, but what happens internally? And follow up to that, I'm asking you a two-part question here. Do you feel like Drake May should have been there to at least talk? Because he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so, I mean, for the next few weeks here, I think this, like Robert Kraft said that he wants this to be a fast process, but it's almost impossible if you're bringing in the right candidates to talk to. Maybe who knows? Maybe this is just going to be another sham process where they, do the virtual interview with Ben Johnson, bring in Vrabel for the in-house interview, bring in, other candidates for in-person interviews, and then just wind up hiring Vrabel. But I think that'll look bad from a public perception standpoint. So I do think that they will try to go through a full search here, even if they land back at Mike Vrabel anyway. And as far as Drake May goes, I don't necessarily blame him for that, because I do get the feeling that the Patriots were telling him all year, don't try to put too much on your plate. If you're not required to talk to the media, and if you think it's going to interrupt you, just don't do it. You can say no to all requests other than, your weekly press conferences, going on the radio, all those different things. So to me, I think today he was just like, oh yeah, this is a thing that I don't have to do. I haven't had to do those things all year, and I'm not going to do it now. So sure, you could probably put some blame on him since he's a leader of the team and all those different things. But I think it was more just in line with what he's been doing all year, which is why I didn't necessarily make a big deal out of it. I wish he had talked. It would have been nice to hear what he had to say about everything. But I don't necessarily put the blame on him for that.
I did post game yesterday, and we didn't get Drake May either. So just was curious. He played one series, got sacked by Von Miller, and that was it. And so can the staff work with him? How does it work now? The season's ended. He really can't work with the team now until what? OTAs, and by that point they'll have a head coach and a new offensive coordinator. Is that kind of the timetable for him?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's no on-field work. Maybe you could, slip him a playbook or something like that when he's in the building, because he's allowed to be in the building for to work out and to get treatment and all that different stuff. So it's always possible for him to have some conversations, even if they're not surrounding football. But yeah, until April, until the off-season workout program starts, he can't really have a lot of football conversations with people inside the building. And obviously it's going to be a little bit of a while before all those guys are actually on staff. But it does make it a little bit tricky. Alex Van Pelt's still under contract to the Patriots, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that I guess he could be back in some form or function. It does seem unlikely, but just wanted to throw that out there too, that nothing's necessarily been decided for the rest of the staff at this point. If Alex Van Pelt got another job offer or something, who knows, maybe the Patriots will let him pursue it. But for now, they're just kind of letting the rest of the staff be status quo right now.
Yeah, Boston Herald reporting status quo, Boston Globe saying fired. So I just want to source war. I like those every once in a while. All right, so Doug, take your reporter hat off. Who does Doug Kyed think the next Patriots coach should be?
It's a really good question. I'll say Mike Vrabel, just because I think it's the safest choice. I know that that's not the most popular one among some Patriots fans, but you want an experienced head coach in here. You want someone who brings a high floor. Mike Vrabel actually showed a lot of. He was a good talent scout, I would say, for offensive coordinators. He had 2 offensive coordinators hired away as head coaches. Obviously, that would be tough if that happens here, too. But I just think that he would bring a different element, a different mindset. He'd be, I think, more receptive. I think he'd just be a big change for the Patriots. And I would be a little bit afraid to hire another first-year head coach. I like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson would definitely be a strong number 2 for me, but I do think that you need a pretty significant change and someone who is experienced and someone who's been a head coach before.
The odds are out, courtesy of Bet Online. Mike Vrabel, the favorite right now. Brian Flores coming in just behind, and then Ben Johnson, Cliff Kingsbury, another coach looking for a second job, and then it's Aaron Glenn, Liam Cohen. Bill O'Brien's name on this list as well, along with Joe Brady and Josh McCown, who was Drake May's high school football coach. Any of those names?
Bill O'Brien would be a tough sell.
Me too.
Right?
He's suspect. I've been saying that for years.
He did a decent enough job with the Texans, but in 2023, he did a pretty bad job as offensive coordinator. I know there was limitations in place for him, but I don't know how you could possibly sell that one. Brian Flores, I like Brian Flores. I think he's a really good coach. it would definitely scare me that he went through 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years with Miami, and then Tua comes out of the situation and literally called him a terrible person in an interview this offseason. And so if I'm talking to Brian Flores, who, once again, like I said, I like as a guy, I like as a coach, you'd like some assurances from him that he could be a lot different. And I do think that Tua and Drake may have different personalities, so maybe that would just go better overall. But I would like some assurances that he would be a little bit different. Liam Cohen's a little bit interesting just because he's local, went to UMass. Scares me a little bit that he's had, I think, 4 different jobs in 4 years. Went from Kentucky OC to Rams OC, back to Kentucky OC, and then Bucks OC. You just like to see him stay in one place for a little bit longer than that.
And I just wanted to mention, I didn't think that the Patriots would be the most desirable. I thought because maybe the way they've spent with free agency, or maybe the talk around the league about their spending. I know Kraft talked about their spending today, but seeing Ben Johnson interested in it makes me think that, all right, now this is a destination. But, do the Patriots need to beat anybody else out here? I mean, the Jets have interviewed Vrabel. They have interviewed at least one minority candidate in Ron Rivera. If they do another, they still have the edge here. I don't know if Vrabel would go to the Jets personally, but you mentioned that you were happy with the Patriots making the move fast. How fast? This is what I mean. Could another shoe drop here? Could John Harbaugh, if he loses in the first round, be available? Could one of these other coaches? Could there be a trade with the number 4 pick? In the end, I want them to be uncomfortable a little bit, not just go with guys they know.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I mean, I'd be a little bit shocked if any of these other guys wind up. I know there were the reports from Jake Glazer that, Kevin O'Connell, teams have been calling them about trading for him. I don't know. The number 4 overall pick for a coach seems really steep. I think the Patriots trade the 16th overall pick for Bill Belichick back in 2000. 16th overall I would do. Number 4 overall, that seems a little bit steep there. But I don't know. I mean, I do think the Patriots definitely they might have the most attractive job. I was actually talking to my buddy Nick Underhill, who covers the Saints, about this.
Yeah, Nick, yep.
And because they need a head coach as well. And he was wondering if the Bears or Jags jobs would be more appealing than the Patriots. And I was like, I don't know. You've got the number 4 overall pick. You've got Drake May. You've got $130 million in cap space. And I hate to say this, but the first scapegoat to go would be Elliott Wolf. It's not going to be the new head coach. The Patriots have another option whenever this happens, where I don't think the head coach would be the first to go. So I think that you would have some time with it. The team is definitely going to be better in 2025 just from a talent standpoint. So I really do think there's a strong case that the Pats is number 1, because who wants to work with Trent Baalke in Jacksonville? With the Bears, certainly appealing, but
Poles is there.
I don't know. I think that to some degree, depending on who the head coach is, you might rather work with Drake May than Caleb Williams. I think that, let's say for Mike Vrabel, kind of seems like Drake might be a better fit for him than Caleb Williams. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy, but and I feel like a homer right now, but I really do think the Patriots' job is a strong one.
There you go. He's Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald. I got my Netflix on in the studio here. You ready to go for tonight?
I will at some point. I'm doing a podcast at 8:30.
Oh,
so I'll probably have it on in the background for that one.
What's that podcast name again? What's the name of that podcast again?
Well, I do Pat's Chat with Michael Hurley, but I'm actually going to be on the Bill Barnwell show with my buddy Bill Barnwell to talk about Mayo getting fired and some of the other head coaching vacancies. So
wow, Bill Barnwell, that's a big get. ESPN guy, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And another wrestling guy, actually. Though I've been to NXT with Bill. I've been to some indie shows with Bill. I don't know what other ones I've been to with Bill, but yeah, another big wrestling guy.
Wow. All right. Well, Doug Kyed's doing that local and big time radio with Bill Barnwell later. So enjoy that podcast. And yes, WWE going to Netflix 3 hours tonight. 3.5 hours. So I have it on here in studio, and I'm excited for the new era, the Netflix and chill era for WWE. It should be fun.
Love it. Yeah, no, I'm psyched to see what it looks like. I'm excited to watch.
All right, he's Doug Kyed, everybody. Boston Herald, you'll be busy. I'm sure you'll be reporting stuff. You'll be hearing it. Stay tuned to the Boston Herald for that. Doug, appreciate it, man. Enjoy your time tonight.
Absolutely. Anytime, Joe.
You got it. He's Doug Kyed, everybody, of the Boston Herald, and now he's doing local, and now he's going to do national, and I appreciate that. We'll hit the headlines here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, well, Jerod Mayo out. It's been over 24 hours now. Patriots owner Robert Kraft spoke today. He was guilty. Said the whole situation's his fault. Blame it on me. Now they'll do a coaching search. They want to get back to the playoffs and win championships, and they have permission to speak to Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. Mike Vrabel listed, though, as the favorite, according to Bet Online. Doug Peterson out in Jacksonville. Bears will interview Mike McCarthy. Christian Watt. McCarthy worked a lot because I heard him a lot. Who else was in at night during this time?
We had some McCarthy, we had some Cattles, we had a little Dondero. It was we're talking before and after the holidays.
I think Dolph and Ty did a couple of shows.
Yes, Dolph and
together,
Ty.
right?
I was not here for those, unfortunately, but yeah, Dolph and Ty were here. Little Sports Hub Underground takeover.
We do have some audio for Bill Belichick coming up in a second, but in our chat tonight, Smitty is in there. What's up, Smitty? Joe, thoughts on Raw tonight? Well, it's on Netflix starting at 8 o'clock. Don't leave my show. Don't leave. I'm going to watch it too. We can all watch. We can do a show and watch it together, everybody. You can even stream this show while you're streaming Netflix. Netflix and Joe. How about that? Ooh. Could put that on a shirt. Brokerage Babe, hello. How are you? Wayno! Shout out to Wayno. Tenacious Tomato. What a cool name. I'm just reading the people in the, I'm just reading. Sometimes it's good to read, Skaz, and, well, sometimes it's better off that you don't. All right, let's hear from Bill Belichick. He had comments on the Pat McAfee show today regarding the Patriots moving on from Jerod Mayo. Let's hear it now.
Obviously, you had the greatest dynasty in the history of sports up there in New England. They have moved on from Coach Mayo after 1 year in a surprise announcement yesterday to, I think, a lot of football fans. How do you feel about only getting 1 year to build your culture? And how do you feel about that type of situation up there in New England, how it's unfolding right now? And you can obviously go to press conference, Bill, if you need to at this moment.
You know, the Patriots situation, I mean, honestly, I don't have too much of a comment on that. You know, Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, Robin Glazier, you know, they're the decision makers there, who exactly does what and so forth. Mayo was handpicked by Robert, but in the end, the decision making is something that they'd have to comment on and identify. But, you know, they're the ones that are really, you know, making the calls there. And so it's you know, they're the ones that should comment on that. I really don't know from the outside looking in.
So Robert, John, and Robin are the ones making the calls. This is why they suck, everybody. This is why they suck. I will just because I want to get to in or out because we haven't been on in a while. But Bill Belichick wanted to bring Matt Patricia back, and they weren't having it. So he got fired, and then they brought Bill O'Brien in, something he didn't want. He didn't want Mac Jones either. They meddled. And once they got involved, I feel that Bill tanked it. So he should have been fired for that. But they got involved, just like they got involved with Bill Parcells, just like they got involved with Pete Carroll, just like they were involved with Jerod Mayo. Do you hear the common theme there, everybody? The next guy that comes in here needs to be the one that makes the calls, not an 83-year-old man, his son, and Robin Glazier. We have In or Out coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
.com/985 the Sports Hub. I have the. I don't want to spoil anything if it's on this list for tonight, but WWE to Netflix starts in 5 minutes and 48 seconds, so we will all watch together. But first, we will play the game of In or Out, curated by one James Scaramazino, that we call Skaz, not Skags. Who called you Skags when we did the thank yous?
Probably Fred. I think it was Fred.
It was Fred, yeah. I felt like it was a joke, though, because other people have called you Skags.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways. So let's start out In or Out, Skaz.
All right, Joe, it's been a while, so we'll start where the people want us to start, Joe. We'll start with some food in or outs tonight. We'll start with Cinemark, movie company. They're letting customers fill containers of their own choice with popcorn for $5 on January 19th to celebrate National Popcorn Day. So it is bring your own bucket. Any bucket you bring, you can fill with popcorn. Joe Murray, are you in or out on bring your own bucket to the movies?
In. Oh my God! I'd bring what do I have that's a big bucket? I'll have to think about that. But could I bring a Darth Vader helmet? I'm not a.
Think of one of those Lowe's or Home Depot buckets, like a 10-gallon bucket or something.
The one for cement?
Yeah.
Or you know what I'll bring? A water cooler. You know, the ones that you dump on the coach. Yeah. Oh yeah, hook me up with one of those.
One of those Gatorade things. Yeah, fill those up.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather bucket or bag?
Bucket.
See, I'm a licker, so I lick the bag a little bit.
Excuse me?
Yes, I'm a sniffer and a licker. But please tell me you've ate popcorn with your tongue before.
I mean, I think I eat most things with my tongue.
No, but I mean, you like a frog. You know, a frog just uses its tongue to.
I mean, it's not my preferred method of eating popcorn, but sure, yeah,
You've
I've done it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I sometimes lick the bag. So I guess I could avoid that with a bucket. In. Bucket, popcorn, in.
All right, Joe, we'll stick with food. Oreo is re-releasing the Oreo-flavored Oreo. Yes, it's an Oreo cookie with Oreos as the filling. Joe Murray, are you in or out?
I think it's called Oreo Loaded, right? Is that what
that
they call
is it? You are correct, sir.
In. This thing's good.
And
now,
you named it.
I prefer the OG.
Are you a double stuffed guy?
I am a wicked double stuffed guy.
A silly question.
Sometimes I take two double stuffs, and I take the top off of both of them, Joe. I don't know if you ever done this. You get the double stuff, take the top off of both, and then smack them together.
You're a quad stuffer.
Yes, a quad. I am yes. Yes. It's almost like a whoopie pie with a cookie instead of a. What is that? A brownie cookie? I don't know what the hell that is. What kind of cookie is a whoopie pie? It's a whoopie, right? Or is the filling the whoopie? I did it all for the whoopie. And come on now, most stuff. The most stuff is the it's like a real chocolate sandwich. Because they have the loaded and then the most stuffed.
All right, Joe, sticking with food, KFC has debuted a new spin-off restaurant called Saucy. The restaurant focuses on chicken tenders and their new 11 different sauces. Their first location is now open in Orlando, but KFC wants to expand and open more Saucies nationwide. Are you in or out on the KFC spin-off restaurant Saucy, focused on tenders and sauces?
And now, let's talk about some of the sauces. There's the chimichurri ranch, the peri peri ranch, the jalapeno pesto ranch. That's a lot of ranches. There's a lot of ranch here. Smoky bacon ranch, the Thai sweet and spicy, the barbecue sweet and saucy, the saucy sauce. What's the saucy sauce? The Spice-O mango chutney, out. Saucy ranch, Creole honey mustard, sweet teriyaki, the passion fruit orange guava refresher. Oh, those are the drinks. Should I go back to the? Should I stay at the sauces or go to the drinks? They call them sippers. The hot honey watermelon refresher. The blue raspberry freeze. In. Joe? In? I gotta try this bad boy. This is good. KFC, what do they do bad? Remember the popcorn chicken? They get the best wedges in town, too. What else we got?
All right, taking a break from food. Joe, we'll head to the world of Airbnb for this one. Pablo Escobar's alleged private jet can now be rented on Airbnb for as little as $600 per night. Joe Murray, are we in or out on staying at Pablo Escobar's alleged private jet?
I have no interest in that, but I saw this on Barstool, I think. And it's got 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom stationary aircraft. I'd be in. Like, dude, if you were like, hey, Joe, want to hang out on Pablo Escobar's jet? In. How can I be out on that? Is there cocaine on it? I won't do that, though. I feel like I'll turn into Tommy Boy and I'll explode, and I can't do that. And I'm too
think
old.
of like Flash Gordon in the Ted movies.
Yeah, like when they were just blowing lines. Like I no. But they got a nice little table for that, though. You see it?
Sure, that thing's been turned upside down more than once.
I'm in, but that's if it's $600 a night. Nope.
All right, Joe, you mentioned wrestling and Netflix earlier tonight. One legend, Ric Flair,
out.
Says he has one more match left in him.
No, out. I watched the last one. That was his last match. And then the one at WrestleMania was his last match. Out. Sorry. No. I love Ric Flair.
That's
I'm
like
out.
elder abuse at this point.
No.
He does not look good.
Just someone pay him.
Yeah. Don't go away.
You don't have to wrestle. We'll just pay you.
I don't want to see that man in the wrestling ring again.
Nope. Out. Unless he's like, woo! Or something, Or with his daughter.
All right, Joe. Well, a new generation is upon us. Babies that are born in the year 2025 to 2039 will be known as Generation Beta.
Yeah, I saw
Joe
that.
Murray, are you in or out on Generation Beta?
How can I be out on it, though?
Tough name.
I will tell you this, though. It's Generation B, right? It's going to be Generation B.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't understand Gen Z. Like, I mean this. Kendra is one of the most interesting people in my life because, well, I don't really know how to talk to a Gen Zer. And I don't know why I reference her. It's just that I'm fascinated by her because I just don't understand. I work with other kids at other spots. They're in their mid-20s, dude, and I don't understand them. I don't understand what they do. They want to watch other people play video games, and all of them have backpacks, and they all wear white shoes. I don't understand them. They love like old songs that became what DJs play, It's like they think that the songs were new, but no, it's just they ripped it. Some guys dancing to Taylor Dane the other day. I'm like, dude, that song came out in 1989, bro. They're like, really? Generation B. The hell are we going to talk about them about?
I don't know if you saw, there was I don't know what generation they're in, but a young Twitter user over the weekend was very upset at Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Said it was the most sinister song they'd ever heard in their lives. So,
what?
Yeah.
It's the most feel-good story I've ever... it's over, it's clapping and moving.
Very sinister.
That song's sinister? Has he heard some of his other ones? What's he think of Piano Man?
All right, Joe, we'll head to the world...
What about We Didn't Start the Fire?
Oh, that's a good one. We'll head to the world of the NIL and college basketball for this one. VCU, kind of taking the NIL into their own hands, has announced they will start paying athletes directly starting next year. As colleges embark on the new era, VCU expects to pay $4 to $5 million to compensate its players. More on this, Andrew Petcash said VCU men's basketball players will, on average, get an annual salary of $385,000 a year. Joe Murray, are you in or out on the universities taking this into their own hands and paying the players directly themselves?
Well, I think a school like VCU might have to. You know why? Because you can control it.
$385 a year, like that's how do you turn that down?
Was it Coach Frank Martin we had on that talked about this?
Yeah.
Like maybe pay him by a tier?
Yeah.
Or UMass has some sort of tier. Hey, like blue chip, you get this, if whatever. I mean, they were in the same conference. I know UMass is going to be going to the MAC soon, but maybe that's been a directive from the conference. They have to stay competitive. Dude, the A-10 might have to do this. Because think about it, everyone's merging, and then, Creighton's moving to different... A lot of smaller schools are now getting more money, let's face it, right? But some of these programs like the American Conference in the Atlantic 10, and they're going to need to do this to keep kids there. If not, everyone's going to be jumping ship. Imagine if you could stay for 2 years and make $700,000. And
maybe,
guys, if somebody, you want me to work here for 2 more years, I'll clean the damn toilets.
Maybe Jim Larinaga still at Miami if they had a program like this.
I will literally wipe down Zoe's computer every day for $700,000. I would live here. The things I would do for $700,000? No, the things I do. I'd do the show naked. No one wants that.
I don't know how YouTube would feel about
that.
that.
But I want that $700,000.
All right, Joe, your buddy Will Smith.
Oh, my guy.
Released a cryptic post teasing that he may be starring in a new Matrix movie. Joe Murray, are you in or out on a new Matrix movie with Will Smith?
Absolutely out. I don't need what? We already found out the reason Mr. Anderson and Neo and Trinity, Lawrence Fishburne. What? 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 Is this like a sequel, prequel? What is this?
Yeah, JP wants to know if you would eat celery or lettuce for $700,000.
Yes, I would shove it all in my mouth. I'll put it...
All right. Moving on. Drake wants to create a God's Plan TV show.
No.
To show billionaires doing acts of charity. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Drake? Out.
Hard out on that one.
I like Drake, personally.
Yeah, but...
This is not a big good look for him.
Yeah. Look at how great we are. So we hand $100 to homeless people. Congrats. Like, well, what are we doing here?
That's bad.
Yeah, bad.
Just make a good album, will you? He's made bangers. But his last few have been... Plus, don't get punked out by Kendrick Lamar and other guys.
Super Bowl might be tough for Drake this year. Might be a tough afternoon
Or maybe
him.
he'll have his own party. Just the Drake party versus the Kendrick Lamar halftime show?
All right, Joe. We'll end with this one. The biggest news of the weekend. LiAngelo Ball dropped a new song that has taken over locker rooms in the NFL and the NBA. Joe Murray, have you heard it?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
All right, LiAngelo Ball dropped. We have to play the clean version, obviously, so it takes a little of the shine off. But
okay.
Joe Murray, here is a little bit of LiAngelo Ball's newest single.
Okay.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, the Patriots.
Into the end zone!
Here.
Touchdown for the Patriots!
WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, well, Robert Kraft said that it's on me. It's on him. The whole situation, which is they haven't done anything in 5 years. He expressed guilt for Jerod Mayo. They'll do a coaching search, and they have permission to talk to Ben Johnson. Doug Peterson's out in Jacksonville Bears. They'll interview Mike McCarthy. Christian Watson's season is over. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Next update soon.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 95 Sports Hub.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Up. We're going to talk to Alex Barth coming up in a little bit. I got the Netflix WWE. The Rock, first one out. The final boss. So, you don't have to go watch it. I'll just tell you what's going on. No team played for draft position. Did you notice that this week? Except for the Browns. But they played Bailey Zappi, who threw a touchdown, and that's all I care about. But, yeah, no team played for draft position. So the Titans are now on the clock. And I saw some of the odds out there, but Cam Ward is the favorite right now to go number 1 overall. Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots. If you ask me right now, what should the Patriots do with the number 4 pick? On January 6th, I suggest they select 2 players. I think the Patriots need blue chip build around defensive talent. And I think they spend their money offensively. I would go either Abdul Carter of Penn State. I don't know if anybody's been able to watch him in the college playoff, but I mean, he looks like Micah Parsons. Literally looks like Micah Parsons. How good Von Miller, who's what's the guy? Myles Garrett. He looks like that type of guy. The other one I look at is Mason Graham, the big tackle defensive tackle, from Michigan. Those 2 guys right there, they would be plug and play, start right away, build around it. Would have been top 10 picks no matter what. This kid played, obviously, All-American honors at Michigan, was defensive MVP. He's 21 years old. Big boy, 6'3" and change. Big part of the national championship. But, you'd have him and Christian Barmore up front. That would help your run stopping. That would help your linebackers, etc. The Abdul Carter kid, though, is at least a little bit different. Now you get an outside. They really don't have a pass rusher, the Patriots. I know people don't want to talk about the draft. We will allow that here on the night show. But since it's just happened and they have the 4th pick, I do think that the Titans select first and will take Cam Ward. I don't know what the Browns will do, but I'm telling you right now, there's no way Deion Sanders lets Shedeur Sanders go to Cleveland. That ain't happening, bro. Imagine Travis Hunter there. Oh, boy. So it'll be interesting. The Giants need a quarterback. It's probably Shedeur. They might even have to trade up. Who knows? Shedeur's going Giants. So Travis Hunter's probably the guy you want. I think somebody will trade up for him. Then the Patriots will be left with Mason Graham or Abdul Carter. I'm fine with either or, but I think Carter might be the better need. So for those that are asking me what they should do. I know I left Deshaun holding. Let's talk to him. Deshaun's in Virginia. Hey, Deshaun.
Hello, John. How's it going?
Sorry to leave you on hold, bud.
Oh, no, that's fine. Basically, I wanted to touch on 2 things. First, start with Mayo. I think the main reason for Mayo's demise right now, as far as the job situation, is because what he has managed to incorporate on the field doesn't really make sense as far as when it comes to in-game adjustments, when he calls timeouts and stuff like that, or whatever. So, I mean, you had to think for a second that would you honestly trust him with a better roster? Because even if we do get good players, can you trust them to coach them up well or to make great in-game adjustments or whatever? Now, when it comes to Mr. Kraft, I think he's an overrated owner.
I feel like that's okay to say. I do. I feel like that's okay to say.
Yeah, because the thing about it is that he's had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So Belichick is excellent at coaching with X's and O's. Then you have the field general and Tom Brady running the show on the field. So he hasn't really had to do much or whatever. So that's why I think that Brady makes more sense, because he'll bring stability and hard-nosed coaching, and they can help the team, stay afloat. That's why I think he would make sense more than the other candidate out there. That's all I had to say.
All right, Deshaun, appreciate you, bro. Is Robert Kraft overrated? You could make a case. But he did hire Bill Belichick, who found Tom Brady, and that's priceless. It's priceless. Pat Callahan, listening, sales guy, said he's enjoying the show and then went, woo, as The Rock is still talking.
Is Will Campbell a tackle?
Yes, he's got short arms from LSU.
But you think he's a tackle?
Short arms. My guys are a little bit with the shorter arms are better inside or center, like Cole Strange. So do I think he's a tackle? Ooh, so you know who I've come to love? There's this kid at Ohio State right now. I've been watching him 2 games now in the playoffs. I still think Banks from Texas is probably still the guy. And we'll talk to Barth coming up in just a little bit here. But
to Shabola?
I'll get it to you in a second. But this Will Campbell is projected to be one of the top guys. Kelvin Banks is the kid from Texas. It's Josh Simmons is the guy. He's moving up. And then there's the Urseri kid from Minnesota. He's a big boy. But there are going to be, there's 5 guys. Emory Jones, I don't know if he comes out. Maybe he will. I think there's 5 legit tackles in this draft. The problem is they're probably 10 and back. Like, if you got Banks in the 7 or 8, fine. I like Banks. That's the guy for me. Really good second-level guy. I know that the Patriots need guys to help on the first level. But, yeah. And when you watch Ohio State, this kid Simmons, man, he's his footwork. He's good. I've liked what I've seen. Let's do that with Alex Barth. We'll talk to him next. He's from 98.5 The Sports Hub, right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Don't use a national pest control chain. They stink. Use Burgess Pests like me. Rodents are disgusting, and it's their season. Burgess Pest has a plan starting...
It's all night. Everybody's hanging out in our chat. We got a bunch of people. They're all ready for Alex Barth. They want to know what he has to say to them. 200 people in there right now for him. Let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. He's Alex Barth, 98.5thesportshub.com. Alex, it's been a while, 24 hours, my man. Where were you when you found out Jerod Mayo got fired?
Heading back up to the press box at Gillette. I mean, we had just gotten out of the locker room 5-10 minutes before they announced it, so that was pretty quick. That was pretty wild.
So what'd you think? Did you at all, like me, you know me, I'm a conspiracy guy. Do you think that when it happened at the time where you're like, oh man, they won the game and maybe the Crafts are upset and that's why it happened fast? Like, I can't really remember a coach getting canned that fast.
I can't remember a coach getting canned that fast either. Honestly, the fact it was so fast makes me think the game didn't have anything to do with it. Because you can't, all that goes into a coach firing. You can't do all that in an hour. So they at least had to know there was a good chance they were letting him go going into that game to operate, get everything done as quickly as they did after the game ended.
Yeah, and they had the press release all ready to go too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this was something in the works here. But, I'm at least, where I'll give the Pats some credit because I think ownership's certainly to blame, and they even said it themselves. But all along, all I ever wanted them to do was admit the mistake and move on. And they did that. They did it quick. So I do want to credit them for that. But, Alex, the real thing is this, man. Like, I'm not being an ageist when I say this, but Robert Kraft's 83 years old. Like, Jonathan Kraft really, if he's the driving force behind a lot of this, he's not experienced. And, Robert Glazer's in it. And Bill Belichick said that himself today. Like, they're the decision makers. So, they're not going to do a search. They're not going to have people in there to help them out a team, meaning they're going to keep Elliott Wolf and Highsmith. Like, do you think the Krafts can actually make the right choice instead of the comfortable choice?
Yeah, because I think it's pretty cut and dry. We can debate the merits of Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson, but I think either one's a good hire. And there's really nobody else in this cycle that's on that tier, right? Those are the two best guys available. Do you want the best offensive coach or the best defensive coach? Do you want an experienced coach or do you want a first-time head coach? They're at the top of the respective list for what they are. You have a first-time offensive coach and an experienced defensive coach. So they would have to go so far off the map to blow it. I just can't imagine they do that, especially when the public sentiment seems to be as well. Like, one of those two guys, just get somebody who's kind of a consensus. The belief is consensus that they're the right hire. And yeah, there's not that many different ways they can go with it.
How'd you feel about what Robert Kraft said today? And was there anything that you took away as, or interesting?
I thought it mostly wasn't as bad as people were making it out. I thought the way he opened it to what you said earlier was great. Like, this was my fault. I made a mistake. That's, took accountability. My biggest head scratcher from it, though, is still what's going on with Elliott Wolf in the personnel department, because we just did this last year where we didn't know who had final say. And look, Joe, I don't care who the titled general manager is. I don't care if anybody has the title or not. The title doesn't mean anything to me. I care there's 6 people in the room on draft night. 3 people want Abdul Carter. 3 people want Will Campbell. Who's the one that stands up and says, my vote counts as 2, I'm in charge here, we're doing what I want? Who has that final say? Is it still going to be Elliott Wolf? Is it going to be the new head coach? Is it going to be somebody the new head coach brings in? Because coaching was an issue for this team this year. It absolutely was, and that's why Jerod Mayo rightfully got fired. But it was not the biggest issue. The biggest issue was the roster. They need a serious influx of talent this offseason. That is going to be up to the head of the personnel department to take care of, and the head of the personnel department is whoever has final say. So they left that ambiguous today. I do sort of understand why they did it, because they don't want to tie themselves to anything. They want to be able to give a new head coach flexibility in that regard. But that's the one thing I want answered that we don't have answered right now. Who is running the personnel department? Who is making the final say on player personnel? Because essentially that guy, whoever that is the face of the franchise for the next 4 months as we go through free agency and the draft.
Talking with Alex Barth of 98.5, thesportshub.com. Alex, can you tell us about this Elliott Wolf grading system and, something that they put into place this year? Maybe it hasn't been used yet, but is that one of the reasons why Wolf at least will be here through the draft? Because I do feel that if they brought in let's just use Mike Vrabel or some other veteran coach, I don't know if they're really going to have Elliott Wolf for long, but they overhauled their grading system. Can you tell us about it?
I don't know a ton about it. I know Phil Perry had reported that it wasn't in play last year, which makes sense because so much of the groundwork happens in the fall when these guys are actually playing, when these prospects are actually playing, that, you make a coaching change in January, there's only so much you can do. You already have the information you have. You can't go back and re-attend the games and things like that. You watch them on film, but it's different. That's going to take a lot of time to watch every single game and all of that. So it's less value-based. I do know that. And so you get more to individual traits that maybe fit. But I do believe that it wasn't fully in play last year.
Just my thought on it, but I didn't see Drake May after the game yesterday. He didn't talk after the game. He wasn't there today. I maybe wanted to hear from him, just maybe leadership-wise. You had any problem with him not being there or speaking?
No, not really. Look, they put him through a lot this year, and he had to be the face of the franchise at times this year, which you should not have to ask your rookie quarterback to do. If he had kind of been standoffish and absent all year, I'd be more worried about it. But you just look at what he's been through his rookie year. It wraps up with finding out his coach got fired, probably his offensive coordinator, who he clearly had a great relationship and he clearly believed in. It's hard to see Alex Van Pelt being back with the new head coach. He hasn't been fired yet, but I think they're just going to let the new coach come in and pick his staff. I kind of understand if today would have been a bit much for him. I do get that.
All right. I'm just trying to, check all the boxes when it comes to this team.
No, it's a fair question. It's definitely a fair question. I don't think I was as bothered as maybe some people.
Okay. So now what, right? The favorite right now is Mike Vrabel, according to Bet Online. Brian Flores also on that list. He's the second highest odds. Then it's Ben Johnson, who they have been requested to speak to him. Cliff Kingsbury's on the list, Liam Cohen, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think it's Mike Vrabel, and is there someone else maybe that you think they're tied to or considering?
I think, the three, especially now that Brian Daboll's back with the Giants, the three names off the top of my head that I go right to are Mike Vrabel, Brian Flores, and Ben Johnson. And I think, for me personally, and I wrote about this yesterday on 98.5thesportshub.com, I want an experienced head coach. First and foremost, I want a guy who has put a program in place, who has built a culture, because that's what this team needs right now. They need a leader. And we know Mike Vrabel can do that. We know Brian Flores can do that. They weren't fired because it became a disaster. They were both fired due to issues with ownership and poor culture on the teams they left. So I look at those two, but there's also the flip side argument of what's best for Drake May. And with Ben Johnson, we don't know if he can establish a program. We don't know how he is as a leader. We know he's great on the whiteboard. We know he can do the X's and O's. He's one of the best offensive innovators in the game, and that would be great for Drake May. But that leadership quotient is filled, and then some in Detroit with Dan Campbell. So, you're replacing a rookie head coach with a rookie head coach. There is certainly upside with Ben Johnson, but he doesn't answer some of the bigger questions you had from the Jerod Mayo era. He's not guaranteed to answer some of the big questions from the Jerod Mayo era. Some of those questions are still going to loom because, again, we've just never seen him run a program before.
If they do end up hiring Mike Vrabel after doing a complete search, why didn't they just do it this year?
Because they couldn't, because it was contractually in Jerod Mayo's contract. It is the next guy. Right? I don't know if they could have blown that up. I don't know exactly how that works, but they were all lined up for Mayo to be the next guy, and I think they just saw that as the wheels being in motion.
Yeah, and I guess that was a great successful plan, huh? That was the succession plan after Bill Belichick. They never had a succession plan. Well, they never had one after Brady either.
Right. Well, I don't think that was I think the plan was for Bill to get the record and then Mayo to take over, and he would take over a team that was having success and Bill would still be around. We see all these coaches, Dante Scarnecchia, Ivan Fears, they're all still around the facility. They're all still sort of there, even though they're retired, as kind of just like advisors. I wonder if all had gone as planned, if Bill would have done that for Jerod, because it felt like that's sort of what they were missing this year. Just kind of a veteran guy to pick his brain and just sort of be there to help steer things in the right direction. So I think this was a sped up, rushed half version of the succession plan. I don't think it was ultimately the plan. And, you speed anything up, you do anything halfway, it's going to look like that.
All right, Alex, let's talk a little bit of draft.
Yeah.
So the Pats fall from 1 to 4. Titans get the number 1 pick. The projected number 1 pick right now, according to betting odds, is Cam Ward. What do the Browns do? Do the Giants get Shedeur Sanders? And if that's the case, I think the Patriots' need would be, and these are my opinions, I want to get yours, Abdul Carter, pass rusher, Mason Graham. Like, those would be my 2, unless they can get a haul for the 4. What do you think the other teams do? How do you think this all lines up? And again, it's only January 6th, so that's why I'm asking you today, and I'm going to ask you 500 more times.
Oh, we'll do this plenty. And we'll learn more as we go. So the answers change as you learn more information. You don't want to dig your heels in on this stuff. Tennessee's going to be a quarterback team. I'd be shocked if they weren't. Cleveland's fascinating because they reworked Deshaun Watson's contract, so that tells you they still want to work with him. So I had seen that and thought maybe they're like a day 2 quarterback team, try to do like a Jalen Hurts sort of thing. Drew Aller could be a guy, Jalen Milroe. But then now today it's reported that Deshaun Watson had a setback in his return from that Achilles. So what does that mean? If he's out for the year, I think you just go quarterback because now he's going to be how many years removed and you have to be moving on. So they're kind of a wild card, but I could see them if they think they can make it work with Watson, you take Travis Hunter or you trade the pick to a quarterback team and you move on. The Giants, it sure sounds like there's a playoff mandate in New York for Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. Are they going to trust a rookie quarterback to get into the playoffs, or do they go into the Sam Darnold market if he becomes available? Do they go into the J.J. McCarthy market? There's some reports that he's viewed higher than some of the quarterbacks in this draft. I think that's wrong. There are quarterbacks in this draft I would take over McCarthy, but do they go into that market? So maybe there is still a quarterback on the board at 4 to trade down. Now, maybe the Browns or Giants trade down as well. That's possibly the case. If the Patriots get there at 4 and Hunter's off the board, trenches to me, except I'm not so high on Mason Graham for them because he plays the same position as Christian Barmore. And look, there's not a ton of talent on this roster. There's a lot of guys I'm not going to be, super slow about replacing. Barmore is one of their 3 true high-level, building block kind of players. It's Barmore, Gonzalez, and obviously Drake May. I don't think Barmore is kicking out to end. I don't think Mason Graham's kicking out to end. It's going to be tough to get both those guys on the field at the same time. Now, Abdul Carter makes Christian Barmore a better player. I think he makes Christian Gonzalez a better player. So if it's between those 2, I'm taking Carter all day, and then I look at the tackles. I still think Kelvin Banks is a tremendous prospect. We'll see with Will Campbell's arms, but if he checks the box for tackle, I think he's a very good pick. So I'm looking at Carter, Banks, and Campbell with that 4th pick.
Same. Texas, Ohio State, who you got? And you got Penn State, Notre Dame.
I picked Ohio State to win the whole thing in August, so I feel like I got to stick with them. Ryan Day aside, they have the best roster in the tournament. I've been so out on this Notre Dame team. I don't understand them at all. I get why they're good, but I also they shouldn't be this good. Credit to Marcus Freeman for the job he's doing because they are so much better in the sum of their parts. Penn State, if Carter doesn't play, they're going to have a real tough time. I think Notre Dame bullies their way to another win.
I got Texas, Notre Dame in the final. And the only reason why I say Texas, dude, the line's 6. It's a recency bias. That was the greatest game Ohio State's ever played. Will Howard never played a game like that. And that rookie wide receiver, people say he'd be the number 1 pick in this year's draft.
Jeremiah, yeah, you want to know what I do it for? I draft Jeremiah Smith and tell the league to deal with it. I mean, he's on, and he might not even be the number 1 receiver in his draft class. Alabama has Ryan Williams. They're both true freshmen. That's what kills me about losing the 1st overall pick. It's not that it would have impacted this offseason. It's you could have had an extra 1st-round pick next year. You could have traded down again, and you could have had a ton of ammo to move up in 2027 and take one of Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams.
I still can't believe they blew the number 1 pick.
I was saying, everybody's like, put Joe Milton out there and tank, you'll lose. I said it to McCarthy and Phil on, I think, Tuesday. Why is everybody assuming Joe Milton's not going to go out there and sling it?
I got to admit, you saw him a ton down there. The guy could barely make throws short, and I give him credit, and maybe this is where Alex Van Pelt deserves some credit, right?
He deserves a ton of credit, and Joe Milton does too, because he took the coaching and he learned and he grew, and it's on Joe Milton first and foremost. But Van Pelt, the development Drake May made, the strides he made, the strides Joe Milton made, that was an unrecognizable version of Joe Milton. I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Alex Van Pelt did a tremendous job this year with quarterback development, and if he's not back, I would not be surprised if he's an offensive coordinator somewhere else, especially if it's a team with a young quarterback that's valuing development over maybe the schematic side of it.
Yeah, it reminded me of what everything Anthony Richardson they want him to be. It's like I'm
not a bad comp.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. I know the upside of Richardson's crazy, but man, I was really impressed. I saw a lot of Joe Milton in my day, and those little moves, the one that he made to the sideline, the dropped one that was called incomplete. That was a hell of a throw. He made maybe five really good throws.
I'm glad everybody because everybody, during the draft, I'm all excited about Joe Milton. Joe Milton is a day 3 pick. What are y'all excited about? He's 24 years old. What do you mean he's fun to watch? Like, I'm glad everybody finally got to see what I was so excited about last spring. And now I feel pressure because, I became sort of the Joe Milton guy. I got to find another guy this year now that is as fun and exciting. I don't know that there will be.
All right, he's Alex Barth, everybody, 98.5, the Sports Hub. Check out his work. I'm sure you'll be doing your draft stuff. We've already done some draft conversations tonight. Alex, appreciate you, man. Go enjoy some time off, bud.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
All right, he's Alex Barth, everybody. I met the bartender. He's talking that draft. I got the bartender. Who they gonna draft? I'm Joe Murray. We'll get to the headlines here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Here until 10 o'clock tonight. We got Murray's Musings coming up on the other side. I just threw in the chat if anybody had any musings from the holiday. Feel free to throw those in there if you'd like. I'll read them. We've done a ton of football tonight. A lot of football. I'm tired from football. So I'm going to take a quick breather. The Celtics played yesterday and lost, but because I didn't see it, did it happen? Did it happen? You know, they've been pretty good on that road trip so far.
They were pretty bad yesterday, Joe.
So, I mean, I had the game on, but like, what they scored 27 points in the second half?
Yeah, they were pretty brutal in the second half. White, Pritchard, and Brown all scoreless, I believe, in the second half. Hauser, I think, only made 2 buckets. So, yeah, it was, hats off to OKC. They had a good game plan. They were the better team. They whooped the Celtics. The Celtics had, Porzingis said it after the game, we were kind of embarrassed in the second half, a little rattled, couldn't get anything going. Second time all year they've had their top 6, but no excuses. You're the best team in the league. You got beat. OKC was better than you. They had that game circled on the schedule. And not only that, that was an undermanned Oklahoma City team. That was an Oklahoma City team without Chet Holmgren, who's an all-NBA type player, and without Alex Caruso, who's an elite defender that, makes impact
Josh
plays.
Giddey for him.
Yeah, all over the court. So, yeah, a bad loss for the Celtics. I thought, there were times where Brown and Pritchard especially, tried to do a little too much in the second half. That was one of those matchups where, not to attack your guy, Joe, Peyton Pritchard, but he struggles with length and speed, and that's who OKC is. They close out on the threes. They're an elite defensive team, and they wanted a shot at the defending champs. SGA said it on Saturday. We want this one. We're ready for it, and they were, and the Celtics weren't. Tatum was good. Everyone else was kind of meh, and Tatum wasn't even that good. So, yeah, just a bad night.
Just a guy who's been watching from afar. I feel like at times their biggest issue is transition guards. I feel like points in the paint is their biggest issue in rebounding. Everyone's going to point to the shots that they miss. Not only that, but the wide open shots that they missed. You probably saw the stat from Forsberg about Tatum. Had a ton of assists. And yesterday they made one of his 15 shots that he passed the ball to. And it was an alley-oop. Like, they shot 7% on Tatum passes. So those are that's a little concerning that they're struggling from wide open shots. I'll say that. I'm not worried about the Celtics. What worries me, though, is the Halliburtons, Maxis, Ja Morants, probably throw SGA in. Like, those guys that are point guards or guards that are fast in transition, they struggle, but they're going to keep shooting the threes. So stop it with the whole, shoot the threes. Just rebound some of the threes, will you? Do that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I thought the Celtics started yesterday with a really good game plan. They had 14 free throw attempts.
Oh, they were up at halftime. They had a lead in the fourth quarter.
With like 8 minutes left in the second quarter. They had 14 free throws already. Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis were all 4 for 4 from the line to start that game. And then they kind of went away from it. And they did start chucking a little bit. And they shot 20% from three. You're not going to win games from that. So the big takeaways are it's a good thing OKC is in the West. The only time you'll have to deal with them in the playoffs is in the finals if you get there. You shouldn't shoot 20% from three in the finals, but they are as legit as it gets. And I see some people in our YouTube chat saying, it was the Celtics' third game in 4 days, kind of a scheduled loss thing. It was OKC's third game in 4 days, and they're more banged up than you are. They played the Clippers, the Knicks, then you. Then they play Cleveland and the Knicks again. So it's not like you got OKC, in a down part of their schedule where they were waiting for you. That's not what happened. This was two teams, the Celtics at, 100% health, and they got beat. That's what happened.
Okay.
They got whooped.
You worried?
No. Worried, no. But I do
Can
think...
I give you something else? That was the first time that how many times have they had their full starting five?
Second time all year they had their full top six.
So can we throw that into the mix?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was part of it. They looked a little rusty, but that's on them. That's their problem, not OKC's
I've
problem.
been told people don't like our coverage. We were the highest rated in the whole entire, literally the whole entire city last year with our Celtics coverage. Was that Green Teamer there, the host of the Green Teamer podcast there, Skaz?
I would say no.
We'll go to break, but we have a full show on Wednesday, and I think we should look back at maybe the Anthony Edwards game. And there's a certain player that, we should give him a swan song.
Tough week for the Anthony Edwards people and the Jimmy Butler people.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tough week for the aura.
Because, my take is that all the good teams tap out because the Celtics are the best.
I thought the Celtics tapped out a little bit on Sunday.
That's fine.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just remember, they got to get to the finals, the other team.
Absolutely. Celtics have a much, I don't know if I'd say much easier, but the Celtics might have a much tougher path when you look at the way the Knicks are playing and the way the Cavs are playing. I think the East is better than the West this year.
The Cavs are an interesting story.
The Rockets are like the 2 seed in the West right now.
They lost the other night. They lost their Jabari.
Broke his hand in shoot around. I'd like to get some more information on that one, Email.
All right, we got the musings. Murray's musings coming up next on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe.
So I went in and it didn't work out to me. And then the next time I go, I see the fire department, Peabody Fire Department, shout out, and they're basically a dumpster was on fire. You know how you see the meme of the dumpster on fire? No, I saw an actual dumpster on fire. So I'm laughing. And it's like in a little strip plaza, Peabody. And so I go into the bank and they go, yeah, we can't do anything right now because of the fire. And I'm like, this is the second time I've come to this bank and I can't get. So then I went to go to CVS and then I couldn't go in there. And then I went home. And I said, I'm going to try this one more time. And it was closed because of the fire. But I got it done today. So shout out to the fire. Hey, we have a listener that's a firefighter, Wayno. I've met when he's out your way, Skaz. Wayno. Shout out to Wayno. What I wanted to talk about tonight is something that I'm sure someone has done in their lifetime, or there are people that are closet of what I'm about to talk about, and I think that we should put a halt to it. It's been happening a lot lately, and I feel like I need to call people out. But I think we need to eliminate crop dusting at events. For those that don't know what a crop dust is, it's when you pass gas by people, and then you start walking. And you basically carry that gas with you. No different than a crop dust that you would do out on a farm. But I was at an event the other night, and someone crop dusted the entire room. And I was pissed because this wasn't someone I was around. You know when someone farts next to you. You know. You're like, dude, you fart? Because you know, you smell it, right? And you know it's not your own. You know? Like, you ever see Step Brothers when they go for the job in the tuxes? And he, like, does that long fart, and he's like, tastes like whatever. No. When you crop dust, you're the worst. You're the person that can't wait to go to the bathroom. You're the person that's like, yeah, I'm going to crop dust everybody. And it's happened to me at Patriots games. It's happened to me at concerts. It's just you let them go. You just let them rip. And you don't care about it. And I think now people should be held accountable for crop dusting. You should be called out for it. Nobody wants to smell your fart as you walk away. Have you ever crop dusted before? Street Team Joe, you have? Guilty. Skaz, have you ever crop dusted?
Not a crop duster, Joe. Not a public duster.
I publicly, like here's the deal. I have past gassed. I have past gassed in public. People may have been behind me, but that's not a crop dust.
Yeah, you're outdoors.
It's kind of like if I let one rip in the Jock Lounge and then walked into the producer's room and then walked to the hallway into the studio. That is a crop dust. But I would just like to say that it's happened multiple times. And I just think that people are getting away with it way too much. And I would like to put a halt to it. Yeah, you can't just smell farts anymore. Now they got to trail it all around. Anyways, famous birthdays today. Rowan Atkinson, 70 years old today. Norman Reedus, 56 years old today. Julie Chen, 54 years old today. Eddie Redmayne, 43 years old today. Kate McKinnon, 41 years old today. Mr. Bean. Can you believe it's Mr. Bean's birthday? Bean! Anyways. What else we got for birthdays today?
Legendary women's golfer Nancy Lopez. Her birthday today, 68 years old.
Good for her.
Not a lot of birthdays today, Joe.
Oh, God, it's the Trump kid's birthday. Why do they even look? Gilbert Arenas, 43. Jameis Winston. It's his birthday today.
It's that guy that stares blankly on the Pat McAfee show's birthday. It is AJ Hawk's birthday today.
Oh! Gonna tell you, confession, I watched a lot of McAfee during the break. I really enjoy his show. You know what it was, though? He was going to, like, different college campuses and doing the show from there. And, whoa, Rey Mysterio. I'm watching wrestling right now.
Joe, it is one Asante Samuel's birthday
which one?
today.
Senior or junior?
Senior, 1981.
Catch the damn ball. Someone said Mr. Bean, big car guy. Did you ever watch Mr. Bean?
I'm not familiar with Mr. Bean's work. I know what he looks like. But,
you really don't know?
I mean, I know he's like goofy, but I've never really seen it.
So, again, I only ever watched him on PBS growing up, but I believe he was English. I'm not... Okay, so I know there were movies called Mr. Bean, but I believe it was like this like English comedy almost, and he never spoke. He only made faces. Does Street Team Joe know Mr. Bean?
He said he's out on Mr. Bean. Hard out.
It's just not my type of comedy.
It's like Pee Wee Herman, kind of.
No, Pee Wee was the man. Well, somebody was talking about Pee Wee Herman the other day. When they stole Pee Wee's bike, bro, I was out. Does Iron Bine's leg crop dust?
No smell. No smell on that one.
I didn't realize Mr. Bean would get a reaction in our chat there. Well, that's all I got. Whoa, John Cena's back, everybody. Watch us, though. It's the watch along here. It's the last time for John Cena. Did you hear that? His time is up. His time is now.
His farewell tour?
You can't see me. His time is now.
I hope Cena doesn't turn into one of these like Ric Flair or Hogan's where he's coming back at, 65, 70 years old just for a paycheck. I like the guys that walk away. Like, has Batista ever come back?
Not yet.
Good
he
for
lost
him.
a lot of weight. Undertaker finally, but he said he can't do it anymore. Some guys just walk away. You're right. I wish Edge did. He came back, but now he's cope. Out. People are glad I'm back at night. I'm glad you guys are here with us, and we get the final hour to go here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBZ-FM and HD Boston.
Patriots!
From the opening...
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Robert Kraft, well, upset today that he had to fire Jerod Mayo, said it's on him, and now they'll start a new coaching search. We don't know. Well, the favorite's Mike Vrabel, but they'll also interview Ben Johnson of the Lions. Doug Peterson's out. Bears will interview Mike McCarthy. And people are emailing me about people that fart during grocery aisles, and that would be called a crop dust. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update soon.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scored on the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back with the no crop dusting rule. My buddy I work with is a crop duster. Kid lets them rip all day. Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, did other things too. Don't care. Rowan Atkinson was also the voice of Mufasa's Major Domo in The Lion King. Do you know who that is? Because I don't. I feel like I was talking about The Lion King recently. Oh, that new one I don't want to see. By the way, you know what? I give you a couple of things I did watch. I saw the new Shane Gillis stand up. It's okay. But that Noah what's his name? Comedian special. It's on Netflix right now. Noah Brazzi, is that his name?
Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze. What the hell? Who the hell? Noah. Nate. Whatever.
Speaking Joe,
Dude,
took me a while to translate that one.
That one was funny.
He's been everywhere lately.
He's clean. He doesn't swear. He's very safe. Family driven. Like, it's pretty good. But yeah, if you want to laugh, I laughed for probably 6. I watched it with Bird too, so just imagine, what we were doing at that point. Laughed my ass off for 60 straight minutes. What did I say his name? What's his name again? Nate Bargatze?
Noah Bargatze, I think you might have called him. Nate Bargatze.
Mike Bargatze.
Yes.
That
watch the Squid Game, Joe?
No, not a Squid Game guy.
That'll get you.
That was funny though. That Bargatze guy. For real, you want to just laugh for 60 straight minutes? I laughed. And again, it was all funny stuff, nothing, it didn't talk about, any topics that we don't want to talk about on the radio.
It's very observational.
Just, hey man, I worked in water supply my whole life. You know what it means to work in water supply? It's just funny. Trying to think if there's anything else I did or watched. I watched the Vince McMahon documentary. I thought it was good. I really wish Vince was there at the end, though.
I heard there wasn't much new stuff in it.
You know what? I think you got the Shane McMahon stuff was new to me. I think it's worth watching because wrestling is a story, right? It's not what we do. We're watching a story. That was pretty good. Not really sure what else I watched, but just wanted to share that. Hey, Benny, how you doing, buddy?
Joe, nice to have you back on night,
Happy New Year,
man.
bud.
Happy New Year. Crop dusting crap. So I work security, the door at the Banner Bar and Grill in Worcester. I work there Saturday nights, and it must be an epidemic because it's funny you brought that up. It's happened a couple times the past few weeks, but 2 weeks ago specifically, 3 or 4 times in a row.
So what do you think?
I was ready to kick out a whole section.
You had to kick out a section for farting?
No, I was ready to kick out the whole section. I couldn't figure out who the hell it was.
Well,
I was just ready to kick them all out.
Could you kick someone out for farting?
I can use any excuse if I wanted to. I would have made up something. Just get the hell out of the bar.
That'd be great.
Who it was.
Hey, who farted? You're out.
Yeah. I almost wanted to go up to the area, but listen, I'll offer you guys the employee bathroom downstairs. I don't care if you have to crap.
Yeah, great.
This is getting ridiculous.
No. My whole thing is maybe it was the holidays, right? Maybe people ate and their bellies aren't right. But man, I almost think it's people are I'm gonna crop dust as I walk by here. Fenway Park, man. No one wants to smell that crop dust.
Bro, it's been awful. And I'm hoping it dies
another
out.
one? You ever go on an elevator and someone just ripped one in there?
I would lose my mind. No, I'd probably get arrested. Get the cops called on me.
Well, Benny,
there's going to be attempted murder.
Well, on Wednesday night, bro, we're gonna get into a little bit more Celtics stuff. I'm gonna tease it for a couple of days, but
yeah,
some problems.
I'll call in again this week.
Some problems going on in Miami. It sounds like.
Well, Miami in general, yeah. I don't know what's in the water.
I don't know.
Tyreek and Jimmy Butler.
I meant the basketball team, but yes. So Wednesday night, we're going to talk about that, bud.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you. You ever been crop dusted in an elevator? What about the car, a rental car, Uber?
Me and Joe back here were discussing where the worst place for this to happen to be. I think it has to be a plane. There's no escape.
There's no escape.
No escape.
I can't fit in the bathroom on a plane. So, if I had to dump, man, I'm in trouble.
A year ago, almost to the day, Joe, an American Airlines flight turned around because a gentleman on the plane was too gassy. The headline, a stinky situation.
I remember this. We probably have it.
I think we did do this, but yes. A American Airlines flight, a gassy man apparently caused a big stink aboard an American Airlines flight, according to a viral social media post. The plane eventually turned around and the passenger was asked to get off the plane.
Do you know what else? What I noticed around the holidays? People in elevators suck. Right? Let's say you go into an elevator by yourself and then someone's like, "Hey, wait for me." it's never just push your button and go. It's always like, do you know how to use this thing? Or I don't know what for. It's like, hit your button. I don't want to be in an elevator with you.
No pleasantries in the elevator?
No.
You're the Mike Felger of riding elevators, Joe?
No. All right, I'm a pleasant person.
You just don't like unpleasant smells.
I don't know. I don't like. Well, listen, I've created a lot of unpleasant smells in my life. No. I guess I am talking about pleasantries in the elevator. You know, when I go in the elevator, right?
In or out on small talk in the elevator?
Hate it. That's my point. I don't want your small talk. I always say, how you doing? What floor? Push the button. Shut up. Have a nice day.
You ever get out of the elevator and just swipe all the buttons on your way out so they got to go to every floor?
No, but you know what would be wicked cool? Crop dusting as you leave the elevator. All right, we'll go to break. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
It's uncomfortable to me. I feel like there should be no toilet talk. I feel like I'm bringing up commandments tonight.
No toilet talk.
No. But you ever notice that? Someone pulls up to a urinal next to you and it's like, dude.
It's usually a man of a certain age.
You're right, though. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll let it fly.
They you know what?
It's involuntary, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Just from walking.
I didn't mean to. I've been thinking about that crop dust thing. I wanted to talk about this all weekend. I got it bad the other night. I would have. By the way, shout out to Grace by Nia. Holy smokes, what a place. You want to go out and dance and have a good time. Great place in Boston if you want to watch some good. Oh, someone mentioned barber small talk. Dude, if I was like, let's say I was like a detective. Dude, I would talk to whoever I'm looking for as barber, man. Right? Or it's always like the nail salon girl or the hair salon or the girl who does her pedicures and nails, right? You want the dirt, dude? They got all the dirt.
Yeah, I don't mind the barber small talk. I'm like pretty friendly with my barber.
I love my barber.
Talk some golf, talk a little NFL. Yeah, I enjoy going to the barber shop.
Yeah, man. You know what would be I may have brought this up before, but what about a half? So I'm into pedicures. I got size 16 feet. They're big. They're hard for me to reach. Belly gets in the way a little bit. But what about a barber shop that gives you a pedicure at the same time?
Why not? Done. Treat yourself.
Are these like could I make this up? Like the Joe Cures? A barber shop that gives pedicures. Anyways, what do you want to talk about? The next Patriots head coach? What should we do? By the way, I gotta get more people to crop those stories. Someone asked me if I'm watching Landman, which I've been recommended to watch it, but I haven't done it yet. By the way, I watched the series finale of Yellowstone, and I hated it. So, Skaz, good show, that sucky ending. I almost swore right there. Crop dusted my wife on a place recently. No shame. Was that place or plane?
JP wants you to name your barbershop Joe's and Toes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Joe's Toes.
Joe's and Toes. Oh, that'd be such a good name. Someone said loved Landman. Oh, what if it was like a cigar bar? That's one word I'll never be able to say. Cigar bar back to forth. Forget it. It's first day back. Oh, someone said urinal farts are the worst. And then people are talking about the crop dust in bed, which sometimes you may have forgotten that you may have let one rip every once in a while. And then you move the old sheet of Rooney, and woof. Should we give the odds again for the next Patriots head coach?
The chat's really enjoying this.
By the way, shout out to Skaz, who put together the holiday thank yous, the holiday messages from the staff. Sounds like a lot of people heard them. Like I had people write to me about some of them. And then you did a year-end best of the Joe Show drops.
Maybe not the best of, but some of the best. Yeah, it was. I didn't want to go too long. It was strictly just drops, but it was 4 good minutes of some of the calls and interesting.
Do you think we could play that on the air, or does it have like we have to blank it out?
No, it's all stuff that was on the air. We could play it.
Well, let's save it. Let's do it before we leave tonight. How about that? The best of from James Scaramuzzino tonight. Well, from the year. The odds to be the next Patriots head coach, Mike Vrabel coming in as the favorite, followed by Brian Flores Ben Johnson, who has been granted permission to interview, Cliff Kingsbury of Washington, Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator of the Lions, Liam Cohen, who is the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, Bill O'Brien, Boston College, Joe Brady, Buffalo's offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, Baltimore's Matt Nagy, he is of the Chiefs, Arthur Smith of the Steelers, and Josh McCown, who is Drake May's former high school coach. Just to give you an idea. Someone just said, I dusted a wedding party on the altar. That is terrible. So, I don't know. If I was going to make a pick, and it's not Mike Vrabel, to me, it would be Ben Johnson. I like the idea of Liam Cohen. Still a guy who's never been a head coach, and he's bounced around a little bit, as Barth said earlier. I don't want Arthur Smith, although who does he have ties to? Mike Vrabel. I think Vrabel could really put a staff together. I don't love the idea of it. I don't like the idea of it. But there are some names that he could bring in. Josh McDaniels will be one of them. Tommy Rees, who's the offensive coordinator right now at Cleveland. Tim Kelly was with Vrabel for a while. Was with the Texans and Titans offensive. He's with the Giants right now. He's their tight end coach. Charles London, current Seahawks QB coach. So just to give you a couple of names. Nick Caley would be another one. So if they do bring in Vrabel, I think he could bring in a legit staff. I don't love the idea of a defensive-minded coach. Here's the only thing I'll say about Vrabel. Is he warranted to also have control of the roster? This was his issue in Tennessee. He had guys fired. So if Mike Vrabel was the head coach, Skaz, I'm pretty sure he's involved in who they select. I don't know if he's earned that right. But do the Patriots only know one way to do this? Do they only know to let the head coach do everything and let the other guy be the paperwork guy? Every team in the league has a general manager or a VP of football operations. Except the Patriots. And it was supposed to be collaborative. How'd that work out when, did you read the Henry McKenna piece, by the way? Throwing the coaches under the bus for progression. Jalen Polk was supposed to be plug and play. Okay, bro. That's the guy they're bringing back, everybody. John's in the car. Hey, John.
Aloha, Joe. How's it?
How you doing?
Hey, one name no one is mentioning, and I'm telling you, I would back the Brinks truck up for him. Local Foxborough Taunton kid, executive president of the football operations with the Ravens, Eric DaCosta.
Yep.
Year after year, a great.
Your phone got a little. But yeah, Eric DaCosta's was been VP of the Ravens. Has done an absolutely incredible job. He's with Ozzie Newsome, who had a great relationship with Bill Belichick, if you remember that.
I believe he's a Colby College guy.
Oh, so raised in Taunton, Massachusetts.
Not a bad place to be. I'll be there in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, didn't they just lose? They just lost their GM, right? Last year? I forget.
So he's been the executive vice president and GM since 2019.
Okay, no, there was somebody else, though, that just left that they had. But that's what I'm trying to say is the Ravens are going to lose. By the way, don't the Ravens draft so well? And don't they acquire great free agents? And yeah, I'd love it. This guy would be great. It's just that my only thing is that don't you want the GM and the coach to kind of have a connection? I don't know. Does DaCosta have a a relationship with, like, DaCosta Monken? Would you like that, Skaz? At least they're familiar with each other.
Yeah, I'm not. I think Todd Monken's done an incredible job. I don't know if he'd be my first choice as head coach, but I do think he has done a really good job.
Do you know why I think Monken's done well is because Lamar Jackson is that type of quarterback. I don't want to call him a college quarterback type, but the offense that they run needs to be schemed around a running athletic quarterback.
Derrick Henry helps as well.
I think Kingsbury's gotten into a little bit of that this year with Jaden Daniels.
I think Zay Flowers being hurt could really hurt them.
So I just saw he cut his hair. Maybe that's just an indication he's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, they said it wasn't as bad as it initially looked, but I haven't seen any follow-up on that.
The other one is Christian Watson, huge.
Just very quickly, I Google search Eric DaCosta, just do exactly what you're doing. Did you go to his Wikipedia, Joe?
I did, yes.
The last line of his Wikipedia.
Well, let's click on it. Taunton, Mass, 53 years old. Oh, DaCosta has been quoted as saying things I like: Dunkin' Donuts, Coca-Cola, Pearl Jam, French fries, and extra draft picks.
What is that? Why is that the last line of his Wikipedia?
I was hoping it was extra duck sauce.
Things I like: Dunkin' Donuts. That's it. That's the end of his Wikipedia.
Hire that man, damn it! Get the final. We need more guys.
What a bizarre end to his Wikipedia page.
Do I have a Wikipedia? I wouldn't have a Wikipedia.
I like the
page,
Kowloon dipping sauces.
Yes, Dom's Meats, Kowloon, Peninsula Poo Poo Platter,
and I'm out on crop dusting.
Bob's Deli has one of the greatest chicken parms ever. Sam LaGrasse's has the greatest pastrami I've ever had. The best bolognese is Petrillo's in Peabody. And Reno's in East Boston is the best lobster raviolis. I'm Joe Murray. Let's get the headlines here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots will have permission to talk to Ben Johnson. He's the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. Also, Mike Vrabel listed as the favorite according to Bet Online. Patriots owner Robert Kraft said they will do a search. They hope to get back to the playoffs. Doug Peterson's out in Jacksonville. The Bears will interview Mike McCarthy for their head coaching job. Christian Watson, as we mentioned, done for the playoffs. Headlines, they are brought to you. me. This guy's a great pass rusher. I really think that if that's where they land, that's what they need. But looking at future decisions here, I do think it's somewhat interesting on Cole Strange. Not to mention Marcus Jones. Both are eligible for contract extensions. The Patriots have to make a decision on Cole Strange's fifth-year option. The fifth-year option is $17 million, Skaz, but I don't know. Is $17 million too much for Cole Strange?
It's a lot of money, but do they have any better options?
No, I'd re-sign him. He's coming off the injury. He can play two positions. He's insurance for...
You have enough holes elsewhere that I wouldn't look to create another hole for yourself.
Exactly.
Just hold on.
Just pay the money.
What about Joe Milton as your backup quarterback next year to save some money?
Yeah. You know what I would do? Seriously?
Isn't it $8 million they'd save? Isn't that what Brissett?
Brissett's making? Yeah. What I would do is I would play, Drake May's your starter. I still would bring in a veteran. I'd let Milton battle for a job. I'd look at it as like a Josh Dobbs type. Josh Dobbs played. If it's Mike Vrabel, he played with Vrabel, right? I'm giving you a type. Like, I don't know if a Brandon Allen's. I'm just giving you names.
I'm trying to think of some of those old Titans backups. What's Zach Mettenberger up to?
Oh my God,
LSU legend.
But he's with. I'm just thinking, could Jameis Winston be a guy? I'm just giving you. Like
Blaine
names.
Gabbert.
Yeah, but yeah. Yes. And maybe they'll just be other guys. Who knows? Maybe Sam Howell becomes available and you got Sam Howell with Drake May. I think they bring in a veteran, someone that can maybe be on the practice squad. I still don't love Joe Milton's ceiling. But do I think the 6 years that he played in the league had him ready to play 1 week against a Bills team that, I'm not discrediting what Milton did. I'm actually impressed. You get the opportunity and you make throws like that. Dude, he rolled out to the right. The booty touchdown, the safety got bit on him running to the point where he froze. Booty's behind him. All he had to do was make the throw. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Mac Jones makes that throw.
I think there's 20 quarterbacks in the league that don't make that throw.
May might make it, but I think he's going to might overthrow it. I think Booty was surprised it actually went directly to him instead of him running to the
defender stopped running. He was like, he's not making this throw.
He also got caught. Exactly. Yeah. But Milton, that's on Milton though. Do you get what I mean? Milton caught that safety in that position. He has the ability to do that.
You want Ryan Tannehill as your backup quarterback?
So that'd be interesting. He's had a year off. He probably won't make any money. But could you bring him in to learn the system if it's Vrabel again? If it's Ben Johnson, do you look at a Teddy Bridgewater, Malik Cook, just someone like that?
I was shocked to see Teddy Bridgewater in uniform on the side. I knew he was coming back, but he literally just won a high school championship a couple weeks ago, and then he's in uniform on the sidelines.
Hendon Hooker is the backup, and I think they wanted a little insurance if that's the case, because Bridgewater's at least played in postseason games. But yeah, I would bring in a veteran, not a Trace McSorley, not a
Nathan Rourke.
No,
Will Greer.
No, I need a little bit better.
Cooper Rush.
Do you know that Jerry Jones didn't play Cooper Rush because he was going to get a $500,000 incentive?
Yeah, and he's never given up GM control. Did you see that quote?
He's going to
never
until he dies.
Till he dies. I almost respect that.
I wicked respect that one.
Would absolutely hate it if I was, our boy Bryson and a Cowboys fan, but that is Jerry Jones sticking to his guns.
By the way, our boy Bryson's killing it. He didn't. Did he chirp you?
I was texting him all day yesterday.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, we were going back and forth. Yeah, former intern Bryson, from Oklahoma City, now doing content for the Thunder.
Great for him. Awesome job.
Yeah,
seriously.
doing an unbelievable job. Yeah, we were texting all day about the game yesterday.
I'm glad. Bryson can do those things. When he this is what I mean by Gen Z. I don't understand. That kid can do anything in seconds. It's just he procrastinates.
Yeah, it's funner that way.
No, I know it is. By the way, our other intern, remember the Aura himself, Kevin.
Mr. Pomfret.
He is very happy with the Netflix. Cody versus Owen isn't until Rumble, right? Well, IG just answered my question. Yes, Kevin, I'm on the air. Southburg Punk gonna feed families.
He's all in.
Low key. Oh, I can't read that one. Nope, can't say that.
I was going to say, most of Kevin's texts can't read on the air.
Whoa, the Undertaker! Whoa! It's the badass Undertaker with the motorcycle. Playing Limp Bizkit's Rolling, I think. Did the Undertaker just roll in on a motorcycle, go around the ring, and leave?
He just crop dusted the ring, Joe.
Did he just crop dust the ring?
In and out like a fast food restaurant. He's gone. Joey goes to the ring.
Joey, oh wait, that's in April. Joey goes to Mania.
Maybe we'll have to do Joe Murray sings entrance songs.
Oh yeah,
Joe Murray's version.
Oh yeah. I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. Got the looks.
The GOAT, Shawn Michaels,
who is now moving up, I heard, to the big time roster. And they're going to have somebody else in NXT. I forget who it was now. So, yeah, when we do the show, I am someone who multitasks. People in the past did not like it when I would multitask during their show. And, well, I would tell them that it works, sir. Have you ever been to Rehoboth, Mass?
Yes, I have.
Where the hell is that?
That's it's down there, Joe. Dighton, Rehoboth.
Down
Bristol
there?
Aggie is down there, I believe. Agricultural school.
Like down there would be like somewhere I don't go. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, down 44. Yeah, you're going a ways down there.
All right. Well, Jay's in Rehoboth. Hey, Jay.
What's up, Joe? Good show, bud.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I'm calling from the middle of nowhere down here, but no. So you guys were just talking about Jerry Jones and what he did to Cooper Rush, and it's funny because he was in that show Landman. It's on Paramount or whatever. He was in it. Bob Thornton, John Hamm. So he had like a little cameo on Sunday night's episode, and it was like, it kind of made me think, it was like, oh my God, he's actually a little bit human. Just kind of his little spiel that he gave in the show without spoiling anything. And then he just turns around and does that to Cooper Rush the next day or whatever. It's just, kind of poetic, I guess.
I actually heard about this. I heard he was pretty good.
It's weird because I heard about this too, that apparently Jerry Jones got some acting chops.
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard, is that he was a great actor.
He's not acting.
By the way, a former Patriot has just signed with a playoff team. Do you know who that would be?
I do not.
I'll tell you on the other side here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow night. I know we're interrupted by a game. Thank you to everybody in chat tonight. A lot of people listening. We wanted to say goodbye to everybody. Skaz put together a best of for 2024. We'll go out tonight. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Yo, they got the double Big Mac. Yes.
Paying the $2 anyways, so it's free to me.
But then we were across the street at the Harps before the game, and Wick Grossback came in, dropped his card, and bought everybody drinks at the bar. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
The owner?
Yeah. It was awesome.
And you got
And
you got a free drink? What'd you get for a drink?
Yeah, free drinks. Came back after the game, bought everybody drinks, and then walked out.
What did you get for a drink?
What do you think I got?
Espresso martini.
How did you know?
They don't call me the money man for nothing, all right? A little nugget. Dip that in some barbecue sauce. Stick my finger right in there. Sometimes I'll just stick my tongue in there, too.
If you're looking for some older women who are single, not my mom, of course.
Why are people touching their udder? Do I think the Bruins probably should have moved on from Cassidy? I'm 50-50 yes. Like, I will lather myself in baby oil if you want me to. Boobs or butt. That's all I got.
What's that?
You're making a lot of sense.
I am? Oh, my God.
I'm used to the Bruins losing, but somebody's calling out Joe Murray sucks at his job. Go bleep yourself, whoever that was. Are you kidding me?
Who fires poop in a Pringles can? Who poops in a Pringles can? Coming up in a bit, and we just need to decompose. I'm literally in draft mode right now, so I'll pour the whole thing in my mouth. Blah, blah, blah. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I don't care. We'll do hockey talk coming up next here on The Sport. I see butt cracks all the time. The year before the August.
I went up to my room. I said, oh.
Mike Ditka had a really nice groomed one. I've been sniffing myself all night long. That was the Unclogging of the Gaps, brought to you by Eastern Mass's leader in drain cleaning and pipelining. Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. They give a poop about your tires. And they smelled a lot of farts in my lifetime that weren't my own.
And I wanted to end it with Giannis. Giannis is a dirty player. Switching sports. I'm done. Giannis is getting into that category of being dirty.
Yeah. All right, Benny. What do you think of Giannis? I told you, I'm like a camel. I'm a giant watermelon. Like, you could fill me up.
I watched it at Patty Kelly's, and boy, was I pissed.
Eat that chicken sandwich. You eat about 3 or 4 bites of it. Then you grab yourself a Coke. You take a sip of that Coke, there's about a half a second where the taste in your mouth is not chicken sandwich, but it ain't Coke either. It's something in between. And that, my friend, is impossible to achieve without a chicken sandwich and a Coke. So, there you go.
You and Skies, keep doing your thing, man.
Stretch at the beginning and the end. We just need him to light it up. Need to light it up. That was funny. I'm crying. My eyes are watering. Did you laugh, Street Team Joe? You laughed too? I heard the guy's windshield wipers too. Pissed me off. All right, well, we'll kiss everybody goodbye again tonight. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you, James Carmazino. Thank you, Street Team Joe, for hanging out with us. We're back here tomorrow. We got the Bruins, Celtics. You know, we're always here to get you not there. I'm Joe Mario. Talk to you guys tomorrow night on the Sports Hub.